This is 5 Live Sport with Colin Murray.
So here we go to the DW. It is the old cliched must-win game for West Ham United. It's a hair's breadth away from that for the home side, Wigan Athletic. Premier League survival at stake. We'll keep you across what's happening at St Andrews, because that's going to play a factor in this. Birmingham City against Fulham, 5 Live Sports Extra for Liverpool against Spurs. And we'll also keep you updated from the Emirates as Arsenal face Aston Villa. But the centre of the Premier League world today is at the DW, and your commentators are Ian Dennis, Jason Roberts and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Colin. Almost goes without saying, there is a real tension in the air here. Not quite full, the DW Stadium. And we've got relegation weather as well, I'd actually have to say. After sort of 6-7 weeks of wonderful sunshine, it's grey, it's cold, it's wet, it's miserable. The kind of day is almost ripe for relegation, if that's the phrase you want to come up with. And we could lose both Wigan and West Ham today. Just to remind you of the permutations, and we'll keep it as simple as we can. West Ham have to win this game this afternoon or they are down. Even if they do win this game, if Birmingham get something at home against Fulham, then West Ham will go down and Wigan will also go down. If Wigan can win this game, they will give themselves a real chance going into the final weekend of the season. We've got our attention firmly focused on the pitch at the moment. Wigan's players in the left-hand half of the pitch in blue and white have just come out of the team huddle. West Ham's players in the claret and blue are lined up in formation and ready to go. Scott Parker's only on the bench. But what was very interesting as we waited for the teams to go out, we also had eyes looking over our shoulders at the 3 or 4 rows of seats behind us, and almost as much interest there. It's the director's box behind us, and David Gold, David Sullivan, Karen Brady are all there, the Supremos of West Ham. Dave Whelan arrived almost last of all, and with a really nice touch went along the row of the West Ham directors, shaking all by the hand, saying good luck. We are underway on 5 Live Sport. It is do or die. It is Wigan against West Ham, and it is Rob Green who gets an early touch and clears with his left foot. I will bring you the full starting lineups just as soon as we get a break, and an early word from Jason Roberts, who is our summariser this afternoon. The Blackburn striker, Blackburn of course, still very much involved in the battle at the bottom of the table, and Jason of course with his Wigan connections. I was just going to say, Jason, watching the teams come out here with the Gladiator music, shiver down. I mean, it must be more for you than for me, but it's like the Colosseum in here.
It really is. It's a really you can feel the tension out here, and you can tell by the way the sides are started that they're both sort of dipping their toe in the water to see how it's going to go.
Charles Nzogby, a little ball into the edge of the area, and here's an early chance. Diame wide, curling shot, takes a deflection, and Rob Green makes the save, palms it away. And Tom Cleverley, who hit the shot, is appealing for handball on the block. Referee Mike Dean was right there. He hasn't given it. We'll have a look at the replay. Jason, you seen that?
Yeah, Jordan Spencer's come across as he's turned away. It looks like he struck his arm, but he's not looking at the ball. Would have been a very harsh decision to give, but for the young man, it must be a real baptism of fire the first couple of minutes, and then he gives a penalty away. We'll
talk about him in just a second when we go through the lineups. Wigan 0, West Ham 0. West Ham have to win or they are down. Ben Watson with the corner, swings it in miles over here. I mean, he's cleared the crossbar there by 20 feet or so, and that, I guess, Jason, just gives you a sense of the nerves.
Yeah, definitely. You can feel the tension. I'm really interested in the way that Wigan have set out. They're putting Nzogby out on their right, cutting in on his stronger left foot against Wayne Bridge, who has had an interesting time since he's come to West Ham. I think they're trying to capitalise on him, and I'm sure they're going to try to get the ball into Nzogby as much as possible.
Let's try and get you through these teams quickly. Ali Al-Habsi is in goal for Wigan, a back four of Emerson Boyce, Gary Caldwell, Antolin Alcaraz and Maynor Figueroa. Ahead of them, Mohamed Diame, James McCarthy and Ben Watson. Jason was just mentioning Charles Nzogby has taken up station on the right-hand side. Tom Cleverley on the left-hand side in support of Hugo Rodallega. Cleverley with that early shot that was blocked by Spence. Jordan Spence is 20 years old. He is making his full debut for West Ham this afternoon in a massive game for the club, and we must keep stressing, even if they win both of their last 2 games, West Ham, it is still very likely that they will go down. He is 20 years old and he is in at right back. Rob Green in goal. Rest of the back four is Danny Gabidon, James Tompkins and Wayne Bridge. Jack Collison, after his horrible long spell out with injury, makes a start, first Premier League start of the season in the midfield. Zavon Hines has come into the side this afternoon, only his 3rd start in the Premier League for the 22-year-old this season. Jonathan Spector and Thomas Hitzelsperger in the middle of the park. Freddie Picquion has come in up front alongside Demba Ba Freddie Sears and Carlton Cole, 2 of those to drop to the bench. Wigan having the better of the early stages. Cleverly spoons the ball out to the left-hand side. Cutting in onto the right foot. Shot is just over the crossbar from Diame, I think. It was Diame. Edge of the area. 2 really good early shooting opportunities for Wigan. It's 0-0. Let's find out what's happening in the playoffs in the Aviva Premiership. Saracens against Gloucester. Latest from Alistair Eakin.
Well, Saracens are leading by 9 points to 3. We've got 16 minutes left to play here, but Surrey's have had their skipper, Steve Borthwick, sent to the sin bin, taking out the man in the air in the line-out. It was Alex Brown. He fell very awkwardly. The rest of the Gloucester players not at all happy. Borthwick sent to the sin bin, so 10 of the remaining 16 minutes will be played with 14 men for the men in black. They lead by 9 points to 3.
Thank you, Alistair. We'll keep you updated on that. The other 4 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League as well. Arsenal against Aston Villa. The game that has real meaning for the game here in the battle at the bottom of the table is Birmingham against Fulham, so Pat Murphy will keep us updated on that. Liverpool against Tottenham Hotspur. Darren Fletcher there for us. We've got commentary also on 5 Live Sports Extra. 4 minutes in, bright start by Wigan, Jason Roberts.
Wigan are playing really well so far. They're getting the ball out and they're really stretching the play. They've got good rotation in midfield, and I think West Ham are finding it hard to really get a foothold in the game. I've noticed Demba Ba's out on their left-hand side, and he's the main focus of their attacks. When we played against him, they're trying to get the ball into him as much as possible, and I think he's been one of the finds of the season.
You'll probably realise from the teams that I read out that Scott Parker is not in that West Ham starting lineup. I'm sure the fans were hoping against hope that he might have some sort of semblance of fitness to get in there, but he's not. He's on the bench. Goal at St Andrews, Pat Murphy.
Goal for Fulham. It's come from Breda Hangeland, an in-swinging corner. Tremendous leap by the giant Hangeland from 6 yards out. Foster, no chance. How significant is that going to be? Birmingham 0, Fulham 1.
Well, let's just keep an eye on the fans around the ground here. I'll have the radios and the phones and everything tuned in to what's going on at St Andrews. That's exactly what West Ham and Wigan want. Wigan 0, West Ham 0. West Ham attacking now. Cross swung into the Wigan penalty area. Clears absolutely everyone in the box. Collison comes racing across. He's up against Nzogbia. Collison got the touch and the ball goes out for a throw-in. Jason, you're in a horrible position this afternoon because we're kind of enjoying all the drama as neutrals. Blackburn obviously are still involved. Wigan, one of your former clubs. You kind of want West Ham to win this from the Blackburn point of view, but obviously, you know, Wigan's close to your heart. It's a nightmare for you.
Yeah, it's a no-win situation. I'm just going to try my best to enjoy the game and not think about the connotations too much, or I won't be able to commentate. I'll be shaking in my boots.
I was going to say, might get some tears in the sort of director's box behind us. Let's hope we don't get any. Sitting right next to me, Jason Roberts, pleased to say with us on 5 Live Sport this Sunday afternoon. Fulham already lead at Birmingham. Birmingham 0, Fulham 1. Birmingham starting the day on 39 points, along with Blackpool. Wigan on 36. A win today, of course, would take them to that number of 39. A win for Wigan today obviously relegates West Ham. We will keep reminding you of the situation and how the table stands. And Zogbia for Wigan. They're playing from left to right in this first half, towards the south stand away to our right-hand side. They're in the familiar home kit, the blue and white, the shirt cut right down the middle, half blue, half white. Here they are again with Boyce, the right back forward in the attack, and Zogbia ever dangerous here, cutting in from the right hand side into the box, trying to get past 2 defenders, lays it back to Boyce, curling cross, should be easy to claim. Rob Green spills it under pressure from Roddy Jaeger, but he picks the ball up on the bounce and he gets West Ham going very, very quickly. It started very encouragingly as a game of football in terms of excitement.
It really has. You have to give credit to Wigan. Even though there's a lot of pressure, they're getting the ball down, they're passing, they're not being overawed by the occasion, and I think that comes from the manager. He's got such a methodical way about him and the way he wants his team to play, and you can see that they're trying to dictate the play and make sure that they have the ball a majority of the time.
7 minutes gone. Early chances, if you just tuned in, have gone to Wigan. Diame with a curling shot that fizzed over Rob Green's bar. Cleverly with a shot that was blocked by Jordan Spence, the young right back. Cleverly appealed for handball. The ball spun behind for a corner and West Ham got that away. Wigan 0, West Ham 0. And here come West Ham now. Picquion trying to pick his way through the Wigan midfield. Ben Watson with the shaven ginger hair makes the tackle. And Wigan, as ever, looking for Nzogbia down the right-hand side. Real bonus for them that he's been able to start today. Diame trying to slide it through for Roddy Jaeger. Tompkins covers. Rob Green comes sliding out. And it remains 0-0. Jason.
Just from that previous West Ham break, they're not committing too many men forward. I mean, I know they feel like they have to win this game, and mathematically they do, but they're not going about it gung-ho. They're very much trying to feel their way into the game. Even the previous cross, no midfielders made their way into the box, and I'm quite interested in how that's going to progress over the game.
Wigan in possession again with their left-back Figueroa just inside the West Ham half. A little bit of sort of light drizzle in the air, slippery top surface. Pitch looks good, in good condition though. Roberto Martinez is right out on the edge of his technical area. Ben Watson's going to throw a ball forward here, and it's going to run all the way out for a goal kick, and we've got a goal at Anfield for Darren Fletcher.
And it's a goal for Tottenham. Liverpool 0, Tottenham 1. 8 minutes on the clock. Rafael van der Vaart with a volley from the edge of the penalty area. Might have took a slight deflection on its way into the top corner, but it gave Pepe Reina no chance. Tottenham have made the better start, and they lead here against informed Liverpool by a goal to 0.
Win for Tottenham would take them a point above Liverpool in that race for 5th place. Fulham through Breda Hangeland lead at Birmingham, which is good news for the participants here, fans, players, everyone, because it keeps Birmingham right down there in it. Wigan have a throw right in their right back position. Emerson Boyce is their right back. He's going to try and steal about 15 yards there, which he's not going to get away with. Gary Caldwell stands a few yards away and is getting ready to give it the clatter with his right boot downfield. Boyce decides not to use him. Bit of breeze about the DW Stadium as well as Boyce throws long down the line. Hitzelsperger nods it down. Piquillon tries to step outside Boyce and wins the throw-in for West Ham to Hitzelsperger in the bright red boots. Over on the left-hand side, Wigan 0, West Ham 0. West Ham trying to play some intricate stuff on the edge of the box. Wigan come away with possession. McCarthy, driving run, is fouled by Hitzelsperger, wins the free kick. Let's get back to St Andrews and find out what's happening there from Pat Murphy.
It's still Birmingham 0, Fulham 1. Fulham are far superior. Birmingham just aren't at the races. A moment ago, Johnson almost wriggled past Roger Johnson. Johnson back at St Andrews. He then fed Dempsey 25 yards out. His side foot shot on target, blocked. Really, Birmingham, who can't score goals, is a chronic problem they have here. They've got to get back into this game somehow. And Bentley on strike at the moment. Shot past Bentley, one of their few fair players. He's got to do it today for Birmingham. But they trail 1-0 to Fulham. We've had 10 minutes to Hangeland's goal.
Another strike on goal for Wigan here from Hugo Rodallega, making a nuisance of himself on the edge of the area. Turned shot straight at Rob Green. 10 minutes gone. Jason Roberts, how do you read it?
Well, Wigan have started much the brighter, I think. They've still got to be very careful because Demba Ba and Piquillon have got great
Piquillon
movement.
Onside, just as Jason was saying that. Piquillon's in on the left, into the Wigan box. Good tackle on him, and the ball goes behind. It was Alcaraz with the foot in, and it goes behind for a West Ham corner. So, you obviously know what you're talking about there, Jason, because as soon as you said it, Piquillon picks it up.
Well, I know a little bit about the game, I'd like to think.
Hitzelsperger will take the corner for West Ham. The West Ham fans are packed in that north stand behind that goal away to our left-hand side. Fulham are leading at Birmingham. It's 0-0 here. Hitzelsperger curls it in to the back post. Tompkins with a header down. Wigan can't get it clear. Swing by Piquillon. Driven in by Collison and it's blocked. Comes out to Hitzelsperger. Curls the crossing edge of the 6-yard box. 1-0 to West Ham. Demba Ba has scored the goal. And it is such a massive goal. They are really fighting against the odds, but they're fighting hard. Wigan have started the better here, but West Ham have the crucial early goal. Demba Ba has scored it with his head. It's Wigan 0, West Ham 1.
From the time the corner came in, Wigan didn't look sure about dealing with it. It's come back out, and what a fantastic ball from Hitzelsperger. He's got that kind of quality, and Demba Ba, a little bit of movement, it's landed right on his head. And the disappointing thing from Wigan's point of view is no one even challenged him. It was a free header from the 6-yard box.
Demba Ba's 6th goal for West Ham. We also have a goal at the Emirates Stadium, Mike Sewell.
And surprisingly, you might be to find that Aston Villa have taken the lead here through Darren Bent. Long ball forward, brought down brilliantly by him on his chest, and then he lofted the ball over goalkeeper Szczesny. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 1.
So, this is how it stands at the bottom of the Premier League table. Fulham are leading at Birmingham by a goal to 0. If it stays that way, Birmingham stay on 39 points. West Ham leading here. A win here would lift them to 36 and put them level with Wigan. Long ball forward for Wigan, which Wayne Bridge will cover. For West Ham, he's going to let it run out of play for a throw, which I think will give us a chance to go to Alistair Eakin at the rugby. There's been a try in the game between Saracens and Gloucester. Alistair.
Yeah, amazing try from Gloucester, who are now in front by 10 points to 9. They've capitalised on Sarries being a man down. Turnover ball on halfway. Sharples with the thrust down the left wing, and Nicky Robinson running it in from 25 metres out and converting his own score. Saracens 9, Gloucester 10. 10 minutes left to play.
Free kick goes Wigan's way here at the DW Stadium. Demba Ba's goal has given West Ham the lead. I guess we've got to keep stressing as well, Jason, even if West Ham win both these games, they can only get to 39 points. It is still very likely, even if they win both, that they're probably going to be relegated.
That's correct, but from their point of view, all they can do is go out there and do what they can do, which is win the football match. And the way they've started and the way they've come into it now, since that goal, they've really looked like they've got a lot more confidence, and it's amazing how goals change football. West Ham look like a different team since they've scored that goal.
Here's the danger man for Wigan, and Zogbia has just overrun it slightly. Bridge got a foot in and nicked the ball away from him. 13 minutes played at the DW Stadium, and West Ham, without a win in their last 7 games, 2 draws and 5 defeats, are leading here. It could all come too late, but Demba Ba's got the goal, and that is why West Ham lead Wigan by a goal to nil. And Wigan are coming forward, and they've got plenty forward as well. Boyce playing a 1-2 with Nzogbia. Boyce then drills the cross across the face of the area. Spence, the young 20-year-old right back, is forward, nods it away. Figueroa keeps it in on the left-hand side for Wigan, and now cleverly he's trying to get away from Spence, gets a foot in, makes the tackle. It's absolutely non-stop. As soon as the ball goes out of play, both teams keen to get on with it. Tompkins clears for West Ham. Here's the goal scorer, Demba Ba. Acres of space, but on his own in the centre circle. West Ham trying to get up in support. Picquion is there. Picquion on the left-hand side, trying to play the ball through the legs of Boyce. It was cut out by Boyce. Look at the space here, though, at the moment. Suddenly Wigan are going to come on the break as Roddy Yeager's chasing a long ball through to the edge of the West Ham box. Roddy Yeager stepping back from Tompkins, back to Nzogbia. Nzogbia in the box, shot away. Straight at Rob Green, makes another easy save. Jason.
It's like a basketball game at the moment. One side breaks on one side, the other side breaks, and they've all got quick players. So when they break, they're coming at such pace. And I think we're going to got to be careful because they're keeping such a high line. Demba Ba's pace can get in behind them, and they're going to have to be wary of that.
If you just tuned in, this is where we stand in the Premier League so far this afternoon with the 4 o'clock kickoffs. Fulham leading at Birmingham by a goal to nil. West Ham leading here at the DW Stadium by a goal to nil. And Tottenham are 1-0 up at Liverpool. There's been another goal at the Emirates Stadium as well. But let's just see what West Ham can do with this. Cleverly in with a challenge. Demba Ba slides in. Wigan fans felt there was a foul there. Advantage is played because Wigan have possession. They'll come back to their keeper. So coming Mike Shule at the Emirates Stadium.
What about this for a scoreline? Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. A second goal for Darren Bent. The ball threaded through the defence by Ashley Young, and Bent put it underneath goalkeeper Zachesny. Arsenal all over the place. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2.
I think there are plenty more twists and turns to come on 5 Live Sport this Sunday afternoon. And Zogbia has a throw for Wigan, and just for a second we get a moment's pause. It's been so fast, the start to this game. And Zogbia throws back to Caldwell inside his own half across to Ben Watson. Roberto Martinez just puts out his right hand and trying to get a message to one of his players on the field as Wigan build down the right hand side, and Zogbia's in a little bit of space. Will fancy a run at Picquion and Bridge. Cuts inside on that dangerous left foot, rolls it down the line for Boyce, down by the byline, pulls the cross back into the area. Roddy Yeager controls, took it away from Cleverly. Still Roddy Yeager, back to Nzogbia, trying to make space for the shot, going across the face of the box and lays it out to Figueroa. Figueroa now trying to step inside. Hines slips. West Ham come away with the ball. And here comes Spector crossing the halfway line, and Spector manages to nick it past Alcaraz, but he is tackled. Roddy Yeager just got in the way of Tom Cleverly there, didn't he, Jason, on the edge of the West Ham box?
It looked like Cleverly was going to get a shot away there, but Roddy Yeager, being a striker, thought if I get there first, I'm going to get my foot on it, which he did. But one thing you know about Wigan, they're going to continue to play at their pace, try and build the play through the midfield, and try and expose West Ham in behind with the pace of Roddy Yeager and Nzogbia.
Wigan lose today, they will be level on points with West Ham. Both teams could then only reach 39 points. Blackpool, currently sitting in 18th spot in the Premier League, will start on 39 points next Sunday. All the games kick off at 4 o'clock in the Premier League. Obviously, tune in to us on BBC Radio 5 Live for the denouement, the climax to the end of the Premier League season. Birmingham at the moment, losing at home against Fulham, would also be on 39 points. And Blackburn, Jason's Blackburn and Wolves will start the day on 40 points. And it's probably worth running through the final day fixtures when we get a second as well. 17 minutes have absolutely zipped by at the DW Stadium. Wigan have had a fair few shots on goal. West Ham have had one effort on goal. Demba Ba close range header. It ended up in the back of the net. And Zogbia plays wide to Diame. West Ham are back in numbers. Here's Nzogbia again, into the area, again trying to get on the left foot, looks for the curler, it's blocked, and the ball might spin behind for a corner. Rob Green is going to go hurtling out there to the right back position and will clear long downfield with his right foot. The only player to aim at is Demba Ba. The ball goes out for a throw. So let's get an update on Saracens Gloucester from Alistair Eakin.
Well, Saracens have moved back in front thanks to another penalty from Owen Farrell. They lead by 12 points to 10. 5 minutes left. They're still down to 14 men with their captain Borthwick in the sin bin.
Thank you, Alistair. Slight frustration from the Wigan fans here as Wigan play a bit of keep ball inside their own half, but as Jason Roberts was just saying, they will continue to play their way. They always have done under Roberto Martinez. He won't change, even despite the dire circumstances. And Zogbia's lost it carelessly on the halfway line. West Ham are going to be dangerous on the break. They've got the lead. Spectre to Hines, who stepped in from the right-hand side, to Barr, the goal scorer, Hitzelsberger, to Collison, right in the centre circle. West Ham, of course, can afford to take a little more time. Obviously need the win, but they've got the lead. Collison goes wide to Piquion. Nice football from West Ham. The fans enjoying it, cheering every pass with the Olays. Piquion and Hitzelsberger play a 1-2, and another 1-2. Hitzelsberger now to Collison. Wigan have got to do a bit of chasing. Collison, clever ball forward to Piquion. And now wide to Jordan Spence. Just West Ham having a bit of fun at the moment, Jason.
They're doing the exact right thing. What they're trying to do is take a bit of the sting out of the game a little bit. Wigan have had all the ball so far, and what they managed to do now is just calm the game down and play at their tempo for a couple of minutes, and they're doing a great job of it.
West Ham, while Jason was talking there, knocked together another 6-7 passes. Eventually they've lost it. Collison is robbed, and look at the space for Nzogbia here. The ball is behind him from Roddy Jaeger, and Nzogbia screams in frustration because Danny Gabidon was coming across to cover. Wayne Bridge was not in position, and Nzogbia was in.
Well, actually, that passing move actually was the undoing of them because they were passing it so well. A few players got out of position, and Wigan were right at them, and a better pass, and Nzogbia would have been through on goal.
Wigan 0, West Ham 1. Demba Ba's goal, his header, giving West Ham the lead. Here's Figueroa up to the edge of the West Ham box, being shadowed by Spence, who's fouled him, has he? No. Good defending from Spence, waves his finger at Figueroa and says he went down too easily. And he's actually, I mean, after a really nervy start, Jason, with the block on the cleverly shot, he's done okay, hasn't he? Absolutely.
For a young man to play in a game like this, in the first 20 minutes, he hasn't looked out of place at all. He's defended really well, he's looked assured, and looks like they might have a bit of a play on their hands because he's done very well these first 20 minutes.
By the way, in terms of playing a game like this, I mean, for example, you're playing against Manchester United yesterday, absolutely crucial. As a striker in particular, you obviously want to go out there, get the chance and score the goal that's going to make you a hero. Do you also go out with the absolute terror that you're going to miss a sitter?
Do you know what? You really can't think like that. I think that's the key recipe for missing that sitter. I think you have to be positive and believe in yourself, and that's why you're there, because more often than not you usually put it in the back of the net.
Well, you did that against West Ham recently in a 1-1 draw at Upton Park. Hitzelsberger equalised. West Ham leading here. Demba Ba just jumps into a challenge, well, sort of jumped very casually beside Emerson Boyce, thought about putting a foot in, then realised it was going to be a bit dangerous, so pulled out. Wigan have possession, but they trail at home by a 1-0, and West Ham do have a decent record at the DW Stadium. They're leading at the moment. Fulham are leading at Birmingham. That's the other crucial thing to say. Birmingham starting today on 39 points, trail against Fulham to a Breda Hangeland goal. Arsenal, amazingly, are 2-0 down at home against Aston Villa. Their season ending hugely disappointingly. And Tottenham are 1-up at Liverpool with a Rafael van der Vaart goal. A win for Tottenham at Anfield will put them a point above Liverpool into 5th spot going into the final day of the season. Rangers winning the SPL title earlier today. And Nzogbia has a chance to play cleverly in the box, pulls it back, it's intercepted by Tompkins. There were 3 blue shirts in there, he couldn't find them.
West Ham really have got to be careful, because whenever they pass the ball, they seem to give Wigan an opportunity. Wigan would best serve to let West Ham have the ball, because whenever they have it, they seem to put them on an attack.
Here's Alcaraz. He's in I thought he was thinking about the shot from about 50 yards there. He slid a good pass through to Roddy Jaeger, and Roddy Jaeger's control let him down, but Wigan still have possession with Boyce on the right-hand side. Boyce playing back to McCarthy. Boyce again, pacey cross into the back post. Tompkins heads it away, and Zavon Hines is there for West Ham in the right back position. Good point being made by Alistair Yeomans on my left-hand side as well. As this stands at the moment with Fulham leading and West Ham leading, this is good news for Blackpool as well. I mean, obviously they've got a hugely difficult game to go to Old Trafford, but We mustn't forget them in all this as well, Jason. And your old mate Ian Holloway.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job this year, and I think if you'd given him gone to Man United to win, to stay in the division, he probably would have took it at the start of the season.
Well, you never know, do you? You never quite know what will happen, what team Manchester United will put out. Wigan, for the time being, trailing by 1-0, have a free kick right over on the left-hand touchline, and everyone's in the box. Watson swings it in and headed away by Gabidon under pressure. Ball only clear to the edge of the area, and Zogbier's going to lay it back here to McCarthy. He's going to float another ball into the West Ham box. Tompkins is up again, heads away again. West Ham manning the barricades at the back at the moment. McCarthy again on the right-hand side for Wigan. He's going to swing another high ball into the box. Rob Green's come a long way here with a punch. Got a bit of a contact on it, only to the edge of the area. Piquion's up. Watson nods it down. West Ham finally will get a chance to come clear. I think they've given it away again. Alcaraz is going to play it to the left-hand side. It is unremitting pressure from the home team at the moment. Cleverly plays back to Alcaraz. Alcaraz just outside the area. Comes back again. Caldwell floats the ball diagonally to the edge of the West Ham box, nodded down by Boyce. Bridge now with a chance to clear up to the halfway line to Ben Watson. I've gone way past the halfway stage of the first half here, but it is relentless. Ian Dennis to take you through to half time with West Ham a goal up.
Thank you, Ali. Not only is it relentless, but it's compelling, isn't it? Because what could happen and just to tell you how much of a knife edge it is, if Birmingham are to equalise at home to Fulham, then these two sides will be relegated. That's how much critical of an afternoon we have on our hands here on 5 Live. And as soon as there is a goal, whether it's at St Andrews or any of the other games at the Premier League, in the Barclays Premier League, we will bring it to you. But talking about Ian Holloway, and I read some quotes this morning, he said that as the shot comes in from long range straight at Robert Green, he believes in fairy tales. If you're a West Ham fan at the moment, you believe in miracles.
Well, you've got to.
You've got to at least cling to that hope.
You've got to, and the way the team's performing, they're going out there trying to control what they can, and that is winning their football matches. They've got 2 matches to go. If they win that, they give themselves an opportunity, and I think they're doing the exact right thing. They've come to play, and they're giving it everything.
West Ham lead Wigan by 1-0. West Ham playing from right to left as we look in their claret and blue shirts, their white shorts, and they're attacking the north end of the ground, and that's where their fantastic support is. They've filled that entire stand away to our left, and Hitzelsberger, who delivered the cross, stands over this free kick about 6 or 8 yards in from the touchline. It'll be left-footed. It's an out-swinging free kick delivered towards the far post. Tompkins with the header, and headed in by Barr on the goal line. Did it cross the line? Well, Tompkins is getting the celebrations, but frankly, who cares for West Ham? It is a goal that is richly celebrated, and at the moment they are believing in miracles. Wigan 0, West Ham United 2.
It's just unbelievable. Wigan look like they cannot defend the ball into the box. Twice the ball have gone into the box, and twice they've not been able to deal with it. It's a really strange atmosphere around the ground. It's silence, and the Wigan fans can't believe what's happened, because they've had all the play and they've not been able to defend set pieces.
Well, I've had a chance to see it again. It was almost on the goal line when Demba Ba heads it in. You can't blame him for making sure. It probably would have dropped in anyway by Tompkins. Tompkins, whose only goal was against Manchester City last December, will want to claim it. They can sort that one out later on. Now what is critical for West Ham is that Fulham maintain their lead at St Andrews. Birmingham 0, Fulham 1 is the latest score. Here West Ham lead Wigan by 2-0 as we go to Vicarage Road and Alistair Eakin.
Saracens, the winners over Gloucester by 12 points to 10. 4 penalties from the boot of Owen Farrell, and it will be a repeat of last year's grand final. This time around, it will be Saracens against Leicester, and ultimately Gloucester couldn't hang on there. They got that try through Nicky Robinson, but it wasn't enough, and Saracens weather the storm of losing their captain Steve Borthwick. They've beaten Gloucester by 12 points to 10, and they're into the final.
Wigan 0, West Ham United 2. Thanks, Alistair. We're going to go to St Andrews. Pat Murphy.
Fulham hanging on to this 1-goal lead through Hangeland with a degree of comfort. Birmingham's lack of pace that runs throughout their team being cruelly exposed. Larson normally so good with set pieces. His work is not as exact as usual. Greening very impressive down the left for Fulham. They look comfortably the better side at the moment. They're shot to pieces in terms of their nerves and strategy at the moment, Birmingham. They're trailing 1-0 deservedly to Fulham.
It's all about Europe at Anfield. Liverpool against Spurs. Darren Fletcher.
28 minutes gone, still Liverpool 0, Spurs 1. The afternoon started badly for Liverpool when somebody unfurled a MUFC 19 titles banner during You'll Never Walk Alone. Van der Vaart scored with a volley after 8 minutes. Crouch set a deflected shot wide. Liverpool just starting to get going, but Tottenham lead by a goal to 0.
And commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra as we go to the Emirates and Mike Sewell.
Well, Arsenal are having more of the possession, but they still trail Aston Villa by 2 goals to 0. Both goals scored by Darren Bent within the space of 4 minutes of each other. The first a chest and volley, the second a low shot under goalkeepers of Chesney. Arsenal 0, Villa 2.
Wigan 0, West Ham United 2. But it's 2 sides to the equation. And it is West London helping out East London at the moment, with Fulham still leading by a goal to 0. Wigan a little bit shell-shocked as Nzogbia comes away from Piquion. Piquion tries to get back at him, drags him to the ground, and Wigan have a free kick. Mike Dean, the referee, giving that decision in favour of the home side. And all the noise is coming from the West Ham end of the ground. Wigan need a goal, and they need it quickly, Jason Roberts.
They really do, and also they need to keep believing in what they're doing. They need to keep believing they can get the ball down, because they will get chances, because they have opened up West Ham a few times.
Watson with a free kick, gets it back from Nzogbia. Curls this one in, a little bit too deep though. Headed down at the far post by Alcaraz. Back towards Diame. Sliding in was a terrific challenge by Collison. I think it was Boyce who looked like he was going to threaten a shot with his left foot, but Jack Collison with a superb sliding intervention. His first start for 15 months, and certainly making his presence felt, the Welsh international. And Zogbia for Wigan goes down, clumsy challenge by Piquion, right of centre, just outside the penalty area.
Wigan look a little bit shell-shocked. I think it's taken them a couple of minutes to get to grips with the fact that they're 2-0 down, they're in a massive game, and I think they need to really think about getting a little bit closer and maybe being a little bit more physical with West Ham, because they're winning all the second balls, and although Wigan have a lot of the ball, they're not really doing much with it.
Wigan Athletic then have this free kick. It's about 25 yards out from goal. It's right of centre. We've got a clutch of Wigan players in there, mainly all royal blue over this one. Roddy Yeager's going to walk away now. Figueroa, of course, has a trusty left foot, as does Nzogbia. And then the short crop ginger hair of Watson has a short run up as well. West Ham, 2 goals to the good. Have everybody back. And Nzogbia with the run up, left footed, strikes the top of the wall, drops over the crossbar, and it'll be deflected behind for a corner kick. Boy, it's tense.
It really is, and Wigan, they have played the better football, but if you can't defend from set pieces, you're going to have a problem. They're in a relegation battle, and you can't give away 2 goals like that. West Ham have done nothing to go 2-0 up.
Collison just slips. Both sets of players are struggling with keeping their footing on this greasy surface with the incessant light rain that is falling. Corner kick to Wigan. It's drifting in from left to right the way, and as the corner swept over this time from that far side, curls out of play for a goal kick. I know we're only teasing before in the press room, but you wind on 7 days, and the nerves that these sets of players are having to deal with, I would imagine, could be you and your opponents at Wolves for your clash at Molineux next week.
Yeah, but I think it's been that way for a while, while you're in this relegation, but it's been so tight down there. Every game, it changes so much. So for the last 3 or 4 weeks, you think that, if you lose or if it doesn't go your way, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble. And, next week is going to be a tense atmosphere for everybody.
It's great for the neutral.
I can imagine. It's been a really strange year, and I think it's just this year. Some people think it's a change in the way the league's being played and a change in the teams. I think it's just a freak year, and I don't think it'll be the same next season.
Well, West Ham know all about being relegated with, the record number of points from the Premier League with 42. You could well be repeated with Blackpool, obviously looking to get to that 42-point mark, maybe to survive. It's going to be. We've got the nerves still to come for the remainder of this game, and of course the climax to the Premier League season on 5 Live next Sunday as Tompkins plays this free kick in long. It bounces to Piquion. Awful defending. Piquion's goal-bound shot cleared by Watson. How on earth he was allowed to get the shot away, but Watson came to Wigan's rescue, and it's a corner kick. West Ham threatening a third.
Every single time the ball goes into the box, Wigan are at sea. They don't know what to do with it. Alcaraz got caught underneath the ball, and there was nobody near him. It almost seemed a bit like a comedy. Wigan really have to do better. There's another ball coming to the box now.
13 minutes to go to half-time. Hitzelsperger with a corner on the left. It's a very crowded penalty area. The header away was from Diame. retrieved over on that far side, played back in by Spence. The header from the Wigan defence tried to be collected on the turn, the half turn by Nzogbia, who's up against Collison. But Hitzelsberger makes the challenge and forces the ball out of play for a throw. Of course, all the celebrations from the West Ham fans, and earlier on in the game they showed great gallows humour as they were singing "K Sarah Sarah, we're going to Coventry." Then they changed that little tack to the fact that they were saying we're staying up, but it is all dependent on the scoreline from St Andrews, and we can't stress that enough, because if Birmingham were to score, then the atmosphere would be punctured away to our left. Birmingham-Fulham, watching's Pat Murphy. And we'll get back to...
Sorry, Ben, I knocked myself off. Zamora's headed against the post, by the way. Fulham's still well on top.
So I think we got that. Zamora's headed against the post from Pat.
I think that's what
Fulham are still winning 1-0. I think from a West Ham point of view, they could do with that second goal, couldn't they? Just to give them a bit of breathing space. And
well, you know, you have to give credit to West Ham. They've really come and they've attacked the game from the start, and they know the fact that if they put the ball into Wigan's box, Wigan are going to have a problem. So what they're doing now is putting it in as much as possible and letting Wigan have to deal with it. And it just seems like they can't deal with the ball in the box. They can't deal with that physical aspect of the game, and they can pass the ball about and they can create really nice triangles. But if they can't defend set pieces, they're going to lose games. And I think maybe that's been an element of their season. That's what's happened. That's why they find themselves down at the bottom.
The voice of Jason Roberts, the Blackburn striker, with us here on 5 Live as Diarmi for Wigan curls the ball in from that far side, the left, headed away by Bridge. Little back header away, did well actually, because I'm not too sure he knew where McCarthy was, and McCarthy was loitering 2 or 3 yards behind him in these damp conditions, with West Ham leading by 2-0 and Birmingham trailing at Fulham. In the race for 5th, Spurs lead Liverpool at Anfield by 1-0. Commentary continues on Sports Extra, and Villa lead at Arsenal by 2-0 as Nzogbia with the corner kick delivered with a bit of pace, hooked away, it's bobbling around and then strikes the legs of Gavidon, I think it was, off Diarmi, and behind for a corner kick to Wigan Athletic. That could have gone anywhere.
Fantastic ball in from Nzogbia. He's really got a lot of quality. He's a player I really enjoy watching, and he put a fantastic ball in there. And they really have to try to get the ball out to him more often, because he's causing West Ham all sorts of problems.
Watson with a lot of urgency, as you'd expect in Wigan's position, runs across to take the corner kick over on that far side, the left. In it comes to a crowded penalty area. Green opts to punch, didn't get there. Gavidon will look to clear for West Ham, closed down by Diarmi. Gavidon does clear, high into the West Ham half, flicked back by McCarthy. Roddy Jaeger with the acrobatic effort, parried away by Green. Very good save, good football all round. And Gavidon again will look to clear for West Ham. It was a very good save. Roddy Jaeger wound himself up for the acrobatic effort, and Green was equal to it. Collison gets back for the clearance, and West Ham keep their 2-goal cushion intact. McCarthy chips the ball back towards the edge of the penalty area. Roddy Jaeger is being impeded as a shot is drilled in and wide from Gary Caldwell, and that'll be a goal kick.
Fantastic save from Rob Green there, but actually it's all come, he's been very brave. He's come 2 or 3 times now, and I don't think he's come and got the ball cleanly any time he's come. So I think he needs to be a little bit careful when he's coming through that crowded box to try and get a punch on the ball when it's coming into West Ham's box.
Wigan 0, West Ham 2. The drizzle falls just a little heavier here in these murky conditions, but there is still that ray of light from West Ham's point of view, providing of course that Fulham can hang on to the 3 points at St Andrews. A lot of football still to be played. Roddy Jaeger for Wigan. They need a comeback, they need a goal, certainly to get themselves back into this game. To Nzogbia, just outside the penalty area. Diarmi back towards Nzogbia, very close and compact there on the edge of the West Ham penalty area. Spector gets a foot into the challenge. Watson wins it back for Wigan to Cleverley. Cleverley goes for a curling effort, strikes the body of Tompkins, loops in the air, headed away then by the West Ham defence. That was Hines who was back there helping out. Boyce will try and keep the ball in play, sliding on the wet surface, and Gary Caldwell has to go all the way back. So West Ham have forced Wigan back. They're playing Wigan from left to right, and they'll come again with Alcaraz to Watson, collects the ball 6 yards inside his own half, closed down by Spector, out to Boyce on the right hand side. Hines comes across and comes off his knees and out of play for a Wigan throw.
West Ham were very slow to get out of their box there. I think what's happening, they're getting a little bit nervous. You know, they haven't won that many games away from home, and they know they're 2-0 up, and they're starting to protect it a little bit now, and they're getting deeper and deeper. Then Babar's becoming more and more isolated, and the midfield of Wigan are picking up more and more ball.
Wigan trailing 2-0 with Rodallega to Watson. Watson then to Figueroa. The left back is tucked in, central position. Out he goes to Cleverley. Midway through the West Ham half, Cleverley spins away from Spence, making his full debut. Diarmi has made a run into the penalty area. Good save by Green again. Diarmi did ever so well to get that shot away. It was almost as if it was getting stuck underneath his feet, but he got a right-footed shot on target. Green made himself big, sprawling save, and a very important one. Back towards Diarmi again. Tompkins takes it off his toes behind for a corner. West Ham under pressure.
Wigan are playing really well now, playing some good balls in behind, but West Ham are so deep. They're playing balls almost into the 6-yard box. West Ham are that deep, and I think unless they do something, Wigan are going to continue to control the game and continue to make passes from left to right and in behind them.
Third important save from Rob Green this afternoon. Watson with a corner for Wigan. Oh, another good save. How did he keep that one out from Rodallega inside the 6-yard area? Rodallega was stooping. He must have only been about 2 or 3 yards out from goal. Wonderful reflex save from Rob Green. Absolutely outstanding.
I have never seen anything like that. Rob Green just stood still and it hit him from the 6-yard box. Rodallega is just trying to get something on it there, and I know it looks like it's a complete miss, but all he's trying to do is direct that towards goal because he's that close. And Rob Green just stood there and it's just hit him. I mean, it looks really like he should have scored that, and he should have. But Rob Green has just stood there and it's just absolutely hit him.
Judging by the body language and the brief conversation that the two of them had, it was almost as if Rodallega said to him, "How did he keep that out?" And Green went, "I'm not too sure."
Yeah, I'm sure that he didn't know how. It just hit him, and they almost both looked at each other like, I can't believe that's just happened.
On such situations can events change, and for Wigan looking for a way back into the game, they have been thwarted by Rob Green in the space of 2 or 3 minutes on 2 quick occasions from the England international. 6 minutes to go to half time. West Ham still have their 2-goal advantage intact. Remember, it's Birmingham 0, Fulham 1. If Birmingham avoid defeat, these two sides, with this scoreline at the DW Stadium, would be relegated. Hitzelsperger with a free kick for West Ham. Headed away by Alcaraz, and it's going to crow across for a West Ham throw over on that far side.
Yet again, Alcaraz had the free opportunity there. The ball's gone in the box, he had an opportunity to head it away from his goal, and he's headed it for a throw-on for West Ham. And it just goes to show that Wigan just seem like they cannot deal with set pieces.
It's a throw for West Ham United. Far side the right. Piquion shows himself, looking to get away from Figueroa, down towards the corner flag. Last touch came off Figueroa. No? I thought from here it maybe did touch the Wigan left back, but it will be instead a goal kick to Wigan, who trail by 2-0 as we go to St Andrews. And Pat Murphy.
It's still Birmingham 0, Fulham 1. Hangeland's early goal. The way that Birmingham are playing, with no inspiration, no width. They've obviously got the desire, but no pace. They'll be lucky to get into half-time just 1-0 down so they can regroup. Considering they've got so many experienced players on this pitch, a lot of them are going missing. Zamora's headed against the post also for Fulham. Fulham fully deserved to be leading 1-0.
Liverpool against Spurs, Darren Fletcher.
Seems to take Liverpool an age to get started, but they're finally stringing some moves of substance together. Van der Vaart's volley, though, still separating the teams. Liverpool's best move of the game resulted in Spearing firing wide from 16 yards, and Andy Carroll should have at least hit the target with an angled header from inside the 6-yard box. Still Liverpool 0, Spurs 1.
Thanks, Darren. Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra here. Diarmi has gone on a run, picking the ball up midway through the West Ham half, but then placing his shot well wide of Rob Green's goal away to our right. Arsenal against Aston Villa, Mike Sewell.
It's still Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2, but Arsenal are having the lion's share of the possession and could quite easily be level at 2-2. Van Persie hit the post after outwitting the Villa defence, and Ramsey had a decent shout for a penalty after looking like he was clipped as he went to shoot by Richard Dunn. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2.
And don't forget, after all of the football, Alan Green is taking your calls on 606 0500 909 and 693 from 6 till 7 on 5 Live this evening. I think it's all over now in the Rugby League. Dave Woods is at Hull.
It is. Hull Kingston Rovers 46, Bradford 18. Not a gratifying day for Bradford in defence. They were poor. 7 tries, 8 tries for Hull KR, including a hat-trick for Welham. 46-18, Hull Kingston Rovers have won.
Thanks, Dave. Earlier today, Chelsea 2, Newcastle 2 as a result at Stamford Bridge. And in the SPL, if you missed our coverage earlier this afternoon, Rangers the champions after a 5-1 victory at Rugby Park against Kilmarnock. Celtic beat Motherwell 4-0. Dundee United beat Hearts 2-1. And in the Empower League, one playoff first leg, MK Dons beat Peterborough 3-2, an eventful second half, as they had been 1-0 down to Peterborough so they have a slender advantage before the second leg. MK Dons 3, Peterborough 2. 3 minutes to go to half-time, 20-5 on 5 Live, and still a lot can happen here for survival in the Premier League. But West Ham are certainly doing their bit. Wigan need to do a lot more, as well as hope that, of course, the scoreline doesn't change with Birmingham getting an equaliser, because otherwise these two sides will be relegated. You'll hear that quite a lot between now and full-time, I'm sure. As the long ball is cleared downfield for Roddy Yeager to give chase. Gabidon did well, kept his balance under pressure, and then a well-timed header back towards Rob Green as the ball is bowled out towards Bridge, and Collison under pressure from McCarthy shields the ball away from him. Gabidon then plays it out of defence to Spector, almost over the halfway line. In fact, they now come to Hines, wriggling away from his marker on the left-hand side, cuts in front of Boyce. Hines still going. Caldwell makes the challenge. Referee Mike Dean says no free kick. Hines picks himself off the floor. Boyce will clear as Hines dived in. Gabidon lets the ball bounce off his chest, collected by Bridge, and Collison to Tompkins. Tompkins then across towards Jordan Spence. There are a quartet of players in this West Ham side. 3 of them at, I think, 22, and as it's already been mentioned, Jordan Spence on his full debut at 20. And I think, as you said when you saw the team, this is the future for West Ham, because they're playing beyond their years, aren't they?
I think there is an element of that. I mean, obviously it's been a tough season for him, and you can get mentally fatigued. And I think what he's done is brought in some young players who are up for the challenge and maybe won't take on board all of the connotations of a game like this, and just try to go out there and play their football and enjoy it.
And they're certainly rising to the challenge as well, because there is there's a zest about West Ham's play. There's obviously mobility, but the way that Collison has covered a lot of ground, and he's using his experience. I mean, Collison is a terrific talent, and after knee surgery as well, this is his first start in 15 months. The Welsh international back in Gary Speed's squad, of course, for the tournament that'll be in Dublin, continuing in a couple of weeks' time. He's looking to make up for lost ground, the youngster, and doing well for West Ham's cause. As Alcaraz steps out of defence, takes it high on the chest, links up then with McCarthy, continues to run forward here is Alcaraz. Strong running from the back, out towards Nzogbia. Cleverly wants the ball out on that far side to left. West Ham still lead 2-0. Cleverly, left corner of the penalty area, into the box. Curling effort from Cleverly. Not too dissimilar to the goal he actually scored at Upton Park earlier in the season in terms of the way it was curling, but this time it was over Rob Green's goal and out for a goal kick.
One thing that is noticeable is the pace of the game. It seems to be, I'm amazed at the pace of the game. It's going from one way to the other at breakneck speed. You've got to give the guys a lot of credit, because the game is, obviously, we all know what's resting on it, but they've been able to go out there and express themselves, and it's quite an open game. You thought it would have been a little bit cagey, but they've both come to win the game.
Kevin Friend, the fourth official, puts up the 2 minutes of added on time for the electronic board, so a minimum of 2 minutes for first half stoppage time at the DW Stadium on 5 Live in the Barclays Premier League. It's Wigan Athletic 0, West Ham United 2. Birmingham 0, Fulham 1 is the other crucial scoreline affecting matters at the bottom of the table. Tompkins to Bridge. Bridge just chips the ball forward. Hines has a glance over his shoulder. Again, he loses his footing. That was more to do with the surface. There was no challenge from Boyce. Just tried to spin away from him. As we said earlier in the commentary, he's not the first to do that. As Boyce collects this ball now on the halfway line, takes a deflection off Hines' outstretched foot, and it'll be Bridge to bring it forward to Hitzelsberger, who's ahead of him. He turns out towards Picquion, offering the width on the right hand side. Picquion then looks to use his pace, and that'll be a goal kick. Picquion was sliding, couldn't keep the ball in play. Jason Roberts.
There's a lot of frustration around the ground. You can really feel it. Everyone's very, very frustrated, because Wigan have played very well, but they've not managed to get that goal that maybe their players deserve. West Ham haven't brought much to the table, but they put the ball in the box twice and they've scored 2 goals, and that's got to be the frustrating thing. Hasn't been a great bit of play from West Ham, just put a lump into the box, and Wigan just seem incapable of dealing with it.
6 years ago, Wigan and West Ham were promoted together to the top flight in the same season. Jason was part of that Wigan side that day, of course, under Paul Jewell, as the ball is launched long to Cleverly, and he just took his eye off the ball at the last moment, and left-footed had a swish at it, and it dropped away, and Green collected. It was almost as if he didn't half expect it to reach him.
West Ham are that deep that a big ball from there is nearly going into their 6-yard box. They're so nervous. You can tell they're not used to winning games, especially away from home, because they're so nervous. They don't almost know what to do, whether to stick or twist, and at the moment they're dropping so deep that one ball can get right into their box and it's not even no chance of offside.
Mike Dean blows the half-time whistle at the DW Stadium. 2 goals for West Ham, the first for the header from Barr. Whether he's going to claim the second almost on the goal line from Tompkins' looping header, they'll have to sort that one out in the dressing room. But it's 2 critical goals for West Ham, but only if Fulham can hang on to their victory that they currently have at St Andrews. But for their parts, they're doing as much as they can. Wigan 0, West Ham United 2.
It's unbelievable at half-time of our 4 o'clock kick-offs. If you had a little rush of blood to the head earlier today and thought, I'm going to put a couple of quid on 4 away wins, because you just never know, then you're almost halfway there to St Andrews and Pat Murphy.
Birmingham 0, Fulham 1. Fulham good value. They're given a classic example of the pass and move game here. They've been neat, composed, intelligent, and this off the back of a 5-2 thrashing early in the week from Liverpool. Even before Hangeland scored after 5 minutes, Schwarzer, of all people, the keeper, nearly put Fulham ahead with a massive kick that Foster clawed away at the last gasp from a corner, and from that in-swinging corner, non-existent defending, routine header for the giant Hangeland, who's been mighty impressive at the heart of Fulham's defence. All Blues have had to offer really was a punt from Bentley 25 yards out straight at the keeper, bit of huffing and puffing, in-swinging cross from Larson, Phillips glancing header deflected for a corner. Fulham really could be more than one up because of interchange very cleverly. The goals there with Zamora, Dempsey, Greenings play well. I venture to suggest this could be a very, very important half-time roasting from Alex McLeish for the Birmingham players. Birmingham 0, Fulham 1.
Not a happy home dressing room at St Andrews. Harsh words from Kenny, I'd imagine, as well, although Liverpool improving, but behind Darren Fletcher, the Spurs.
Yeah, they got better the longer the first half went on, Colin, but by then Tottenham were ahead. 8 minutes, the goal came. Van der Vaart with an impressive volley from the edge of the penalty area after Liverpool failed to deal with a corner from Modric from the right-hand side. Took Liverpool till about the 35th minute to get starting, then Spearing fired wide. Carroll headed wide from close range when he should have done better. The closest they came, though, a Suarez free kick and injury time at the end of the first half after Carroll was upended. The Uruguayan whipping the shot just wide of Kudacini's right-hand post. The Spurs keeper, though, Colin, yet to make a save. Liverpool 0, Tottenham 1.
4 points as it stands at the moment, separating 8th all the way down to 14th in your Premier League. Well, a happy away dressing room at the Emirates. I wouldn't like to be sitting next to Arsene right now, Mike Sewell.
No, indeed not. Boos reverberated around the Emirates as the teams left the field at half-time to a scoreline of Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. The Arsenal fans as frustrated as the players shell-shocked by the effective start Villa made to this match. Twice in the space of 4 minutes inside the first quarter hour, Darren Bent struck. Firstly, he brought down a long ball from Kyle Walker on his chest and beat Sir Chesney, and then played the ball underneath the Arsenal goalkeeper after a brilliantly threaded through ball by Ashley Young. Arsenal have had 2 very good chances to pull it level. Ramsey had a very good shout for a penalty on the half hour after it looked like his shooting leg was taken from him by Richard Dunn, and then 6 minutes after that Robin van Persie outwitted the Villa defence but then hit the post with his eventual shot. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2.
Let me add to that a last minute goal for Newcastle. The Chelsea and Newcastle United shared the points at Stamford Bridge. It finished 2-2. Rangers are SPL champions despite Celtic winning 4-0 at home to Motherwell. Rangers went away to Kilmarnock, were 3-0 up within 7 minutes. It finished 5-1, so the helicopter headed to Rugby Park, and we can take a second out, and boy do we need it. Here's your news headlines now with Helen Foxborough.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A man seen as a strong potential candidate for the French presidency is appearing in court, charged with attempting to rape a maid at a New York hotel. Lawyers for Dominique Strauss-Kahn, who's the head of the International Monetary Fund, say he denies the charges. A Royal Marine from 42 Commando has died in Afghanistan. He was killed by a bomb while searching a compound in Helmand province. His family has been told. Reports from Israel say at least 8 people have been killed when troops fired at crowds of protesters on the Lebanese and Syrian borders. The demonstrations were marking the anniversary of the founding of the State of Israel in 1948. Essex Police say they'll decide this week whether or not to investigate claims denied by the Liberal Democrat Energy Secretary Chris Huhne that he asked another person to accept penalty points on his behalf for a speeding offence. Officers say they've received a complaint from a Labour MP. The Defence Secretary, Liam Fox, says he agrees with the head of the armed forces that NATO should step up its campaign against Colonel Gaddafi's regime in Libya. General Sir David Richards thinks NATO must up the ante now, or the Libyan leader could remain in power. Well, on the roads, the M20 is closed in both directions due to roadworks between junctions 9 and 10. Drivers there should expect delays. 2 lanes are closed and traffic is queuing due to a vehicle fire on the M4 London bound between junction 5 Langley and junction 4B with the M25. In Kent, the A21 northbound is blocked and the traffic there is very slow due to an accident between the A228 Pembury and 2014 Tunbridge. In Gloucestershire, the A417 eastbound is closed following an accident between the A417 A40 and the M5 roundabout. And in Cumbria, the A6 southbound is closed. The delays there are because of an accident at the Armathwaite turnoff. This is 5 Live Travel.
The BBC Trust's role is to get the best out of the BBC for licence fee payers. To do this, the Trust regularly review all BBC services. At the moment, it's looking at 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra. If you've a view on either of these, the BBC Trust would like to hear from you. To find out more, click bbc.co.uk/BBC Trust or call 0800 0680 116. Calls are free from most landlines, but mobile operators may charge.
A busier than usual Sunday at Sawgrass, given a little bit of a third round backlog. The Players' Championship, Ian Carter can bring us up to date.
Yes, the players now regrouping and getting themselves ready for tee-off time. Graham McDowell, the leader, will be teeing off at 1:42pm local time. That's just after 20 to 7 your time. 12 under par, 1 ahead of KJ Choi and David Toms. Feel really sorry for McDowell, though, because he suffered a double bogey 6 in his third round, 68 at the last. He hit a lovely second shot in, but it caught the camber of the green, and with the very last revolution dropped it into the water, and hence the double bogey 6. Luke Donald, a 71, 9 under par. That's 3 subpar rounds for him, and he's just 3 shots back. And over in Mallorca, Darren Clark won the European Tour event there with a final round 69, finishing at 6 under par. He was 3 shots clear of David Lynn and Chris Wood, and it's Clark's first victory since 2008. Will it be an Ulster double tonight?
Well, let me tell you something, Ian. We can work it out when we've got more time, but if you add in Darren Clark and Graham McDowell touch wood, you add into that people from Northern Ireland, Johnny Evans and Darren Gibson, then you go to the SPL and you throw in there Davis and Lafferty, you could be looking at a record haul for Northern Irish sportsmen this weekend in history.
You could, but my goodness, Neil Lennon feels a bit frustrated, doesn't he?
Exactly, he does. Very magnanimous in defeat earlier today on BBC Radio 5 Live. Thank you very much, Shane Carter. We're going to nip up to Uxbridge, just up the road, about 10 miles away, to Alison Mitchell. You've got Middlesex against Sri Lanka, and then news of all the other county cricket.
Indeed. Hi there, Colin. Well, this is turning out to be a long day for Middlesex's largely inexperienced bowling attack, because Sri Lanka are now 307 for 2 in reply to Middlesex's 360 for 8 declared, but both the batsmen back in the pavilion retired out. Tilicaratne Dilshan, 123 he made off 134 balls, making the most of the flat pitch here. And Paratanavana was retired out for 103 as well. We've now got Lahiru Tiramani, who's on 27, and Dinesh Chandimal, who's a 21-year-old making waves in domestic cricket in Sri Lanka. He's 41 not out, so 309 for 2 now Sri Lanka here. Middlesex 360 for 8 declared. In the CB40, Yorkshire missing Tim Bresnan, who's aggravated a calf injury. He's missing the game as a precaution. Yorkshire made 230 for 7. Kent in reply 6 without loss in the third over. Sussex are 19 without loss after 3 overs in reply to Derbyshire's 196 for 8. At the Riverside, Hampshire were all out for 161 as Dimitri Mascarenhas makes his return from his long-standing Achilles injury. Durham 16 for 1 in the third over in reply. Surrey, off their 40 overs, have posted 257 for 7 with a late 82 from Matt Spriegel coming in at 6, bolstering their score. Leicestershire have made 205 for 9 off their 40 overs. That's against Warwickshire. In Group C, leaders Somerset are 11 without loss after the first over of their reply to Lancashire's 248 for 6 with 107 from Stephen Croft. Gloucestershire have made 154 for 8 against Glamorgan, who are 2 without loss in the first over of their reply. Kevin O'Brien just 3 runs on his Gloucestershire debut, the Island batsman. And at Wormsley, the Unicorns against Nottinghamshire. Unicorns 126 for 1 after 30 overs. That was a delayed start because of rain.
Thank you very much, Alison. As I was saying, Rangers champions of the SPL for a third successive season. A 5-1 win at Kilmarnock was enough to secure the title and give manager Walter Smith the perfect send-off. Rangers Chief Executive Martin Bain reckons Smith leaves Ibrox as one of the club's all-time greats.
This season, probably out of most recently, has probably been the one where I would describe it as miraculous. Just with everything we've had to put up with, Walter and the boys have been superb, and all the staff at Ibrox have in very, very difficult circumstances. But we get that backing from the supporters, and and I don't say that lightly. Today you saw them in their thousands, and all season all they have done is support the football club, and I'm eternally grateful to them for that, because none of us could achieve what we've achieved collectively. Supporters, Walter, the team, the staff at Ibrox, Mulwinroll and all of that, everybody together has achieved 3 in a row, so we must be doing something right. I don't think we can be the duds at something that we are at times.
In terms of the club, you sit down now with Craig White, what happens next?
We're going to celebrate today in the season, and then we've got a new manager in place next year in Alistair. He'll need all the support that he can get, and we're looking forward to giving him that. But the club's in a tremendous platform now, 3 championships in a row. Next season, the possibility of Champions League football, depending on obviously the qualifiers, but at least we've got it to look forward to.
Martin Bain talking to Chick Young. Rangers' win meant Celtic's 4-0 victory over Motherwell was academic as they finished that point behind the Glasgow rival. Celtic-Motherwell Scottish Cup final next weekend. The day's other game in the SPL saw Dundee United beat Hearts 2-1, but they'll remain 4th and 3rd respectively in the final table. A quick mention to MK Dons against Peterborough in the first leg of their Empire League 1 playoff. It finished MK Dons 3, Peterborough 2. How it did, I'm not sure. Peterborough went 1-0 up. MK Dons came back with 3 in the second half before McCann made it 3-2. So all to play for as they head back to Peterborough. Stevenage against Accrington Stanley in the League 2 playoff first leg doesn't kick off until 6:30. Some reaction then to that game, which could have been potentially Carlo Ancelotti's final home game in charge of Chelsea. It ended in a disappointing 2-2 draw with Newcastle from their perspective. Stephen Taylor scored an injury time equaliser for the visitors, and with speculation rife about his future, Ancelotti refused to be drawn and where he'll be next season.
Now we have to wait and see the end of the season.
A year ago, all the congratulations came to Chelsea for the league and the cup double. I guess this weekend the congratulations have to go to Manchester City for their FA Cup and for Manchester United for the league. What do you say about that?
Yeah, we have to congratulate, because I think that all Manchester United in the Premier League played continuously, maintaining a good result, maintaining good performances, and so I think that they deserve to win the title. For this, congratulations.
And for Roberto Mancini, man, you know well with Man City.
It was really good for him to win the cup for the club, because was a lot of years that were not able to win, and so I am happy for him.
Does it hurt a little bit more though, Carlo, when you're a winner, when you've won things like you have in the game, and you go through a season without winning a trophy? Does it hurt a bit more?
I think that we have to improve from our mistake to be better the next season, learning what happened this season, and try to do better the next season.
What dignity that man has had all season, Carlo Ancelotti. It finished 2-2 at Stamford Bridge. A quick reminder then, we'll be heading back to the DW. Wigan 0, West Ham 2 at half-time. Other half-time scores: Birmingham City 0, Fulham 1, Liverpool 0, Spurs 1, that's in 5 Live Sports Extra, and Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. So much going on today, a lot of it centred around Manchester this weekend, so let's head up there. The Great City Games being watched by Mike Costello. The Stars have been out to play.
Yes, and given the pretty awful conditions here all day, Colin, it's been raining for much of the day. We've seen some pretty impressive times that wouldn't be out of place in any weather at this stage of the season. And Andy Turner for Britain has completed a very creditable double, winning the 110 metres hurdles, his specialist distance, and then in the rarely run 200 metres hurdles he won again, making it 5 out of 5 so far this season for him, and against pretty decent company too. Jessica Ennis, the world heptathlon champion, also ran twice this afternoon, 3rd in the 100 metres hurdles, won by a very smart American, Danielle Carruthers, and then 2nd behind another Briton, Abby Oyepitan, in the 150 metres flat.
What are the other headlines so far today, Mike?
Well, the two outstanding performances from international athletes posted by Alison Felix, the 3 times world champion in the women's 200 metres, and just a few moments ago the afternoon rounded off by a scintillating run over 150 metres by Tyson Gay, the American clocking 14.51 seconds. Only Usain Bolt has run quicker over the straight 150 metres here 2 years ago.
That's a big only, isn't it? Thank you very much, Mike Costello, there for BBC Radio 5 Live at the Great City Games. I've got to tell you a couple of miles from Deansgate. Kerry-Ann Payne has won the women's race in the Great Salford Swim, which has been in BBC 2 this afternoon, as is, by the way, the athletics. And top British colt Wooten Bassett has lost his unbeaten record today, finishing 5th under champion jockey Paul Hannigan in the French 2,000 guineas at Longchamp in Paris. Locally trained Tin Horse and jockey Thierry Jarnet took first prize in the Classic. Let's go back to Jonathan Overend, who's watching the tennis, and I think we in Rome, I think the ladies are underway now. They must be. I can hear the grunts. I can hear the grunts.
You can hear Sharapova, absolutely. I was just thinking the French Open, Colin, starts a week today, and the contenders for the men's singles title are pretty obvious. What about the women's, though? It's wide open. The Williams sisters won't be there. Clijsters hasn't played for a while. Sharapova has never really done that well on clay, but here has won the first set 6-2 against Samantha Stosa, last year's French Open runner-up. Tighter in the second set, but Sharapova still ahead 3-2, and if she can go on to win the title, then certainly she will add her name to the contenders for a possible French Open crown.
Thank you, sir. 0500 909 693 is the number to call for 606, which will follow all this live football. 5 Premier League games today. See the highlights on BBC 2 and Match of the Day 2 at 10 o'clock. It's shaping up to be the show of the season. Our blood pressure has just about settled. It's time to raise it again. Wigan against West Ham are featured commentary game, and your commentators Ian Dennis, Jason Roberts and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Colin. Perfect timing. West Ham and Wigan are back. The sky has brightened. Wigan need a massive second half here, trailing to 2 first half headers from Demba Ba, as Jason Roberts was saying to us throughout the first half. Wigan had so much good football going forward, Jason, but the 2 goals they've conceded just absolutely schoolboy awful.
And that'll be the disappointing thing, because they've played very well, they've kept good possession of the ball, but they haven't been able, like I've said numerous occasions, they've not been able to deal with the ball into the box. But I think the half-time was a good thing for them. I think the atmosphere was turning a little bit sort of resigned to the fact that we're going to lose this game. I think they've come out now with renewed belief, and the crowd seems to have got behind them for the first couple of seconds of this half.
The other thing to tell you as well is that Wigan have made a double change at half-time. Connor Salmon, the young striker, signed in January, is one of the players who's come on, who's got a real bit of pace about him. Just saw him there herring through to put Rob Green under a bit of pressure. So they've taken off James McCarthy and Tom Cleverley, and they've brought on Victor Moses and Connor Salmon. So I'll run you through the two teams in just a second. 40 seconds into the second half, West Ham leading at Wigan by 2-0. And in terms of the bottom of the table, the other crucial scoreline is Spector goes into the area now. Did he get the ball there? Caldwell did get the ball. Spector goes down. It was a good tackle, no penalty. The other crucial scoreline is that Fulham are leading by 1-0 at Birmingham. And Jason, I was just working this out at half-time. West Ham's goal difference, if it all stays the same as it is now, West Ham on the final day could get to 39 points. So could Wigan. Blackpool will start on 39, so will Birmingham. But West Ham's goal difference has come back to -21, and Birmingham's gone out to -19. So if Blackpool were to lose at Manchester United, could easily happen. West Ham beat Sunderland, and Birmingham got tonked at Spurs. West Ham could stay up on goal. I know I'm saying if. I know there's a lot in there.
I mean, for that to happen would be unreal. But one thing they can do is go out there and perform the best they can, and they're certainly bossing this half of the game since they've come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how's that not a corner? Zavon Hines has just hit a left foot shot against a Wigan defender. That took the clearest deflection I've ever seen, and it's gone out for a goal kick. So that's bizarre.
I've seen Connor Salmon play a few times, and one thing I will say, he's a big lad, he's game, he'll work hard, he'll run the channels, and he'll make it a physical game for the West Ham defenders. So I think it's a good move by Roberto Martinez to put him on.
Joined in January, yet to score for the club, but has only made 5 substitute appearances. But we saw definitely what he's got right at the start of the second half here, and he's got another touch, and he's drifted out wide to the right-hand side. Victor Moses now gets his first touch of the second half, but it's not a successful one because Wayne Bridges in with the tackle. Piquionne heads forward from Bridges through ball, but it's easily intercepted by Gary Caldwell. So Caldwell picks up and drives a high, long diagonal pass out towards Roddy Jaeger on the left-hand side. Spence jumps high above him. Hines comes sliding in. Wigan get the throw. So Wigan have got Al Habsi in goal. We'll come back to the teams in a second. This could be crucial. Goal at St Andrews, Pat Murphy.
Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. Again, it's Brede Hangeland, again from a corner. Farcical series of rebounds and mishits, and there he was, the giant Hangeland, nodding it in from about 5 yards. And just before that, they'd hit the post. Sidwell, Zamora had 2 chances, a free header, then a one-on-one. Each time he should have scored. There's no exaggeration to say that Fulham could be 4 or 5 up. Instead, they lead Birmingham City 2-0.
West Ham fans have just had news of that away to our left-hand side. They are delighted. Birmingham's goal difference now drops back to -20. West Ham's leading 2-0 here is -21. Yes, they will start the day 3 points behind Birmingham, but West Ham next week are at home against Sunderland, who haven't been in a great run of form. Birmingham are away at Spurs. Blackpool will also start the day on 39 points away at Manchester United. It's very complicated. Cross in from Emerson Boyce on the right-hand side. Goes behind. Did it go behind, or is it going to go out for a throw on the far side? It was that bad. It goes out for a throw. Right, let's get through the teams quickly. Al Habsi in goal for Wigan. Back 4 remains the same. Boyce, Caldwell, Alcaraz and Figueroa. Diame and Watson in that midfield. Victor Moses has come on, and Zogbia still out there. Hugo Rodallega and the other substitute, Connor Salmon, has come on. That is your Wigan lineup in the second half. West Ham are unchanged. They have Rob Green in goal, 20-year-old Jordan Spence, first full start at right back, Gabidon, Tompkins and Bridge, the remainder of the back 4. Collison, Hitzelsperger, Spector and Hines making up the midfield. Picquion and Demba Ba, who has scored both goals. West Ham are leading by 2-0. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service. We are at the DW Stadium here, and West Ham are giving themselves a lifeline at the foot of the Premier League table. Crossing from Figueroa is easily caught by Rob Green on the edge of his 6-yard box, and Thomas Hitzelsperger picks the ball up and starts driving forwards for West Ham. They are in the familiar claret and blue. They're playing from left to right in this second half at the DW Stadium. Demba Ba's been caught offside, so Wigan will get themselves the free kick. So, well, final day of the season. West Ham at home against Sunderland. Wigan are away at Stoke. Blackpool away at Manchester United. Jason Roberts, who's with us this afternoon. Your Blackburn team away at Wolves. It's just... It's
just the strangest season anyone's ever seen. I don't think you've ever known a relegation fight to go to the last day where maybe that no one knows who's going down. It's just bizarre, and it must be great to watch, but I can tell you, to be involved in it, it's just you can never relax, because you're not quite sure what's going to happen. And there's some good sides down there. I mean, you look at the sides out there today, these are 2 good sides which on other years wouldn't be anywhere near relegation.
Well, I think West Ham fans, certainly if they go down, will look at a performance like this and think, well, where on earth has this been all season? Because, you know, OK, their goals have been gifted to them, but they have played much, much better. It's a much changed side as well by Avram Grant today. 5 changes, Wigan 0, West Ham 2, and Birmingham are 2-0 down at home against Fulham. Wigan are coming forward at the moment. Ben Watson's going to hit a curling shot, and it's just wide and just a little bit too high. But Rob Green's reaction told you he was a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah, well, that came about. One of the West Ham players slipped there, and I can tell you, I've been playing this pitch from up here. It looks pretty lush, it looks good, but once you go down it cuts up really easily, and you've noticed 6 or 7 players going down because even though you're wearing studs on it, it gives way really easily, and it's something that they've had here, well, since I was there, so it's been here a long time.
Should just say it's a fairly moot point as well. West Ham with a win, and Rob Green has just slipped over, exactly as Jason says that, as he cleared his lines. West Ham will go off the bottom of the table. They'll move above Wigan on goal difference. Wigan now down to -25. Really bad news for them in terms of trying to survive. And West Ham back to -21. All the games kick off at 4 o'clock next Sunday. BBC Radio 5 Live is the place to be for the end of the Barclays Premier League season. 5th spot still to be decided, of course. Liverpool and Spurs battling that one out. Spurs 1 up at Liverpool in a 4 o'clock kick-off this afternoon. Villa are 2-0 up at Arsenal. Chelsea, Newcastle finished 2-2, and Rangers won 5-1 at Kilmarnock to clinch the SPL title. Tons of football as well on 5 Live next week, because of course the second legs of the playoffs are about. Tomorrow night we've got Swansea against Nottingham Forest. Tuesday night Cardiff are playing Reading, Manchester City playing Stoke in the Premier League. So just stay with us all the way, and we'll continue here at the DW Stadium with James Tompkins clearing his lines for West Ham. Hines comes bundling into a really clumsy challenge on the halfway line, just jumped into Figueroa, knocked him over. and Wigan get themselves the free kick. So they've made the double change, Jason. What about... I mean, Wigan actually had enough chances. Rob Green made some incredible saves at the end of the first half. Get one goal here, and West Ham will wobble, won't they? Without a doubt. Wigan can get that goal because there are chances there to be got, because West Ham look vulnerable at the back. A little bit of intricate play, and they're getting in when they want. The only thing is they haven't been able to put it away. You've got to temper that with the fact they've got to be even more frustrated, because West Ham, apart from putting it in the box twice, haven't really created anything. But what they've been very clever with is, since the start of this half, you know, the pace has really slowed down. It's not like it was in the first half. It's not end to end. They've really managed to muddle the game and calm it down to get it down to a normal pace, which is exactly what West Ham would want. West Ham are deep, sitting deep at the moment. We're going to have possession inside their half. Gary Caldwell, little short ball into Nzogbia. And Zogbia up against Collison, skips past him, then just knocks it into Salmon. Salmon has his back to goal, lays it out to the right-hand side. Boyce kills across to the back of the area. Roddy Jaeger brings it down, hits the half volley on the right foot. Ball spins up in the air, deflected, and away towards Picquion, who's on his own. There are 4 Wigan defenders around him. Hines gets it, good vision from Zavon Hines. Spots Demba Ba on a hat-trick in acres of space on the left-hand side for West Ham. Up to the edge of the area, shoots across goal. Behind for a goal kick, there's a penalty at Anfield. Darren Fletcher.
And it's a penalty to Tottenham that will keep the race for the Europa League alive, because young John Flanagan has been adjudged to have fouled Pinar inside the penalty area. It looked shoulder to shoulder to me. Howard Webb, though, has given the penalty. Modric is standing over at Anfield Road end of the stadium. Reina, with this fantastic record of saving spot kicks, standing in the centre of his goal. Spurs leading 1-0 with the Van der Vaart volley in the first half. Modric takes and scores, centre of the goal. Liverpool 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
Thank you, Darren. Same scoreline here. It is Wigan 0, West Ham 2, and also at St Andrews last we heard Pat Murphy, it was Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. Still the same?
Still the same. Fulham comfortably leading this game. The cigars aren't out at the moment, but holding off a bewilderingly incompetent Birmingham with a degree of ease. Since Hangeland's second goal, another soft one from a corner. Good Johnson, low shot, fine save. Sidwell, good chance, 20 yards over the bar. Birmingham are creating nothing, and they're losing 2-0 to Fulham.
Incredible scorelines in the Premier League, actually. Spurs 2 up at Liverpool, Fulham 2 up at Birmingham, West Ham are 2 up here, and Mike Sewell, Villa last we heard. Villa are 2 up at Arsenal.
Yep, full house. Still, that is the scoreline here at the Emirates. Arsenal having plenty of possession, but their normal precision passing anything but precise at times. They brought on Marouane Chamakh for Sebastian Scalacci and moved their defence around. Alex Song has dropped back. It hasn't paid dividends as yet. They still trail 2-0.
OK, well, here's a real opportunity for Wigan at the DW Stadium. We are 10 minutes into the second half. Wigan and West Ham both deep in relegation trouble, but at the moment going West Ham's way, leading by 2-0. Even if they win today, if Birmingham claw back and get a point even against Fulham, West Ham and Wigan would go down if that was the case. But here, Jason Roberts, an opportunity for Wigan, and in fact there's 6 of their players standing over the free kick in the D central position.
Well, this certainly is an opportunity, and they've got the players who can do this. That's having a bit of an argument about who's taking it. There's a bit of a pushing and shoving going on there, but they've got the players there who can do it. They've got right footers and they've got left footers, so Rob Green's have to be very careful with what he does with his wall and where he stands, because they can put it both sides.
Just trying to see who, and Zogbia is there obviously, and he looks like he's taking a sort of diagonal run from the right. It's so central it would suit left footer or right footer. Roddy Jaeger seemed desperate here. It looks like it'll be Nzogbia with the curler into the top corner from Charles Nzogbia. Wigan are back in the game. An absolutely stunning strike. It is not over yet at the DW Stadium. They are fighting for their lives just like West Ham, and Nzogbia throws Wigan a lifeline with a stunner. It's Wigan 1, West Ham 2.
As soon as that free kick was given, you knew that Nzogbia was going to take it. They had a bit of an argument about who was going to take it, but for me there was no doubt that Nzogbia was going to take that and hit the target. And what a fantastic free kick straight in the top corner.
Well, you have to say, for the amount of possession and amount of efforts on target, I think Wigan deserved that goal, and it sets it up beautifully now for the remainder of the afternoon on 5 Live Sport, BBC Radio 5 Live. Listen to the noise from the Wigan fans. They've immediately intercepted a West Ham move. They've taken possession on the right-hand side. It's Victor Moses who starts shimmying his way in from the right-hand touchline. He's caught Demba Ba, who's gone down, seemingly in agony. West Ham will get the free kick. Charles Nzogbia, Scott Parker on the bench for West Ham. They were the 2 sort of key names we were looking for, Jason, when we arrived here in terms of the team news. And Zogbia is such a massive player for Wigan. What a goal.
He's a huge player for them, and he's someone who'll go on. No matter what happens here, he'll go on because he's got the kind of ability that he can unlock defences. And the way as soon as he walked away from that, I knew he was going to hit that and hit the target, and it was a great strike. And he's got that kind of ability. But also, you're looking for your top players to play well in this game, and Zogbia's been in and out, flirting in and out of it. Demba Ba hasn't had much impact on the game because he's not getting much of the ball. He's been so isolated.
Right, referee Mike Dean at the moment has called over Demba Ba and Victor Moses on the far side of the pitch as we look at it from behind the dugouts. So there's been a little bit of toing and froing there after Ba was fouled and won the free kick. 13 minutes have gone in the second half. Wigan are back in the game. If Wigan get a draw this afternoon, they can obviously still survive. That is no good for West Ham. If West Ham don't win, they are relegated. Even if they do win, they could still go down, but not as it stands at the moment, with Birmingham losing. Long free kick from Rob Green. He's just knocked it straight through for a goal kick to Wigan.
It's a long punt up the field, but again, the ball's bounced in Wigan's box, and the centre-half has not got a head on it. I mean, we all know if the ball comes to the box, you don't let it bounce, and you certainly try to get a head on it if you're centre-half. He's jumped underneath it again.
It's absolutely thrilling stuff. And it's Wigan who have possession. They're in the blue and white. They're at home. They're playing from right to left towards the West Ham fans in this second half. Moses goes down now. Caught by Collison. No free kick given. Diame steps in. Challenges are starting to fly in here. And Zogbia picks the ball up. Good little dribble. Gets it away to Moses. Moses in shooting range. Lays it through to Salmon. Salmon in the area is forced a little bit wide. Back to Roddy Jaeger. Roddy Jaeger with his right foot chips it into the area. And Tompkins heads away for West Ham. You can just feel the atmosphere just coursing round the entire Wigan fans every time they come forward, and the nerves in the West Ham defence. Wigan 1, West Ham 2. Caldwell floats it into the box for Salmon. Salmon on the turn tries to bring it down. Jordan Spence comes away from him with the ball and starts driving up the right-hand side. Last touch there was from Salmon, so the ball goes out for a West Ham throw.
I think he's given a lot of impetus to the Wigan attack. I mean, he hasn't had a shot on target, or he hasn't, but he's run around, he's been game, he's caused them a problem, he's been physical with the back four of West Ham, and I think that's been a really important change for Roberto Martinez.
Wigan fans are getting very frustrated here because Thomas Hitzelsberger, is it Hitzelsberger? No, it's not. One of the West Ham players, Spector's gone down with an injury. Demba Ba went down as well. Wigan fans obviously suspect there's something going on. They want the watch stopped. They feel that West Ham are wasting time. Spector's coming off though. The physio has rolled his hands in that motion, rolled them forwards to say Spector can't continue. So let's wait and see who comes on for West Ham. So let's just get you updated on all the scorelines and what it means while we wait for the change. West Ham here leading by 2-1. Fulham are 2-0 up at Birmingham. Spurs are now 2-0 up at Liverpool. And Aston Villa are 2-0 up away at Arsenal. It finished Chelsea 2, Newcastle 2, and look who is coming on for West Ham, and rather lewdly has just pulled his shorts down to show us his underpants. Number 8 on his back, Football Writers Player of the Year, Scott Parker. I suggest this might get a bit of a roar.
Without a doubt. And this is probably what they need, because they've really sort of been on the periphery of the game since it started. The goal's gone in, they haven't been able to really make any impact since then. So someone like that coming on, someone who's going to be able to keep the ball, be a bit of a leader and make the right choices when the ball comes into him, and that's Scott Parker. That's who's coming on for them, and I think he's going to be a big factor in this game.
I was just going to say as well, Jason, if they're getting nervy, that's exactly who you'd want to see, wouldn't you? The younger players, just look at him come on and think. Right, here we go. 16 minutes gone in the second half then. And more Wigan jeers you heard in the background because West Ham have won another free kick. It's midway inside the Wigan half. West Ham are leading here by 2-1. And so Wigan's goal obviously just adjusts the goal difference slightly for all the teams as well. Hitzelsberger, low free kick. That was really poorly hit actually from a guy who's got an excellent left foot. Scott Parker's first touch is to hair across, pick up possession and smash it back to his goalkeeper, Rob Green. Green, of course, involved with England at the World Cup last summer, as was Scott Parker. Scarcely believable, Carlton Cole as well, that this squad could go down, but it could still so easily happen even if they win their last 2 games of the season. They're winning here, and we'll keep you up to date with events elsewhere all around the Premier League. Victor Moses has looked really good for Wigan since coming on. Here he is again on the dribble. Pass out to the left-hand side, picked up by Roddy Jaeger. Roddy Jaeger gets it onto his right foot. Moses with the first-time pass. Can Figueroa get there by the byline? The ball just beats him and goes behind for a goal kick to West Ham. Jason Roberts.
That was really good defending from Jordan Spence there. He's shown Rodallega inside because he knows he's stronger on his left foot. So he showed him inside, and really his body language has forced them to go back in and lose the ball there. I've been really impressed with him. He showed a lot of maturity.
In terms of the way Wigan have lined up in this second half, Jason, Moses has come on, gone wide right, Rodallega's come left, and Zogbia's almost playing as a second striker, isn't he, off Salmon, basically?
They're almost playing 4-2-4, and it's brave from Roberto Martinez, because really West Ham haven't had that many opportunities to get on the balls and cause them many problems at the back, so go for it. You might as well, and that's the situation they're in, and they certainly are. They're virtually playing 4-2-4.
Wigan still need another goal to get themselves back into this game properly. Got another one, you'd probably fancy them to go on and get the winner, but who knows? We've still got over 25 minutes to go. Really poor pass from Diame, giving it away to Piquillon, and then Piquillon in turn took too long to try and find Barr. His pass is deflected and comes back to Al Habsi, and that's the other thing as we move into the later stages. The mistakes, they're going to come and they're going to be crucial.
Also, West Ham almost not even trying to attack anymore. They're just happy just to defend and to kick the ball up front, and hopefully Demba Ba might be able to do something with it.
Throw in taken quickly by Connor Salmon for Wigan. He's not going to be allowed to. Oh, it's a foul throw. It's a foul throw. You don't see that too often. Connor Salmon's made a very elementary basic mistake. He wanted to get on with it, didn't release the ball properly, and that is a waste for Wigan. Wigan 1, West Ham 2, and Zogbia's stunning free kick at the start of this second half has put it right back into the melting pot. Figueroa's having his shirt tugged at his jump there. Mike Dean's going to play advantage though, because here is the goal scorer and Zogbia. Neat little nutmeg ball, finds Rodallega, goes down too easily under the challenge from Parker. Parker wins a second tackle. West Ham give it away. Here's Boyce to Moses. It's so frantic. Moses chipping one wide out to Emerson Boyce. Now Moses wants a return pass down the right hand side. He's got it. He's in a crossing position, pulls it back. I thought Rodallega was going to pull the trigger. Brilliantly intercepted by Gabidon.
Great bit of skill there on the right hand side, coming inside. A better ball would have found his player, and West Ham are breaking here.
Oh, Piquillon sliding through to Demba Ba. Demba Ba, who scored the 2 goals in the first half, putting Caldwell under pressure. Caldwell clears and the ball goes out for a Wigan throw.
West Ham are dropping deeper and deeper. I was just watching there. Demba Ba didn't have another West Ham player within 25 yards of him. He just stood up there waiting for a big punt upfield to try and do something with it, just to relieve the pressure just a little bit. But at the moment, they can't seem to do it.
As things stand at the moment, West Ham will take themselves on to 36 points. Wigan would start the final day of the season on 36 points. Blackpool would start on 39. Birmingham would start on 39. Blackburn and Wolves would start on 40. And Zogbia chesting the ball down for Wigan on the left-hand side. Up to the edge. Good tackle by Zavon Hines, who came back to help out Jordan Spence. Then delivers the pass up the right-hand touchline. Piquillon tries to control. Can't, and the throw goes West Ham's way, and this is absolutely impossible to call. Absolutely impossible.
I think Avram Grant's made a call here, and I think he's pushed Piquillon up front with Demba Ba, because there was no pressure on the Wigan back four, and they had nothing going forward, so now they're trying to occupy the back four.
Oh, it could work. Demba Ba's in here through the Wigan defence, shoots straight at Al Habsi, easy save.
Really good piece of football there. Demba Ba plays a 1-2 with Collison and gets in the one-on-one. He's on his weaker left foot, and he's trying to just bend it round the keeper as he advances there, but couldn't get enough purchase on it.
Now Nzogbia driving at the heart of the West Ham defence, going past Scott Parker, trying to stick with him shoulder to shoulder, lays off to Rodallega, just outside the area, drives the shot, slices it, it's behind for a goal kick.
The pace is really quickening now. It's getting a little bit like it was in the first half, where it's from one side to the other, and I think it's exactly what West Ham don't want. They want to slow the game down, make it a little bit to you, to me, and Wigan really, they need to make it like it was, which is a frantic pace. One team attacks, another team attacks.
BBC Radio 5 Live, Blackburn striker Jason Roberts with us this afternoon at the DW Stadium. Huge tension as Avram Grant, who's in the West Ham tracksuit this afternoon, the hooded anorak, drops the ball, spoons it up with his right foot and flicks it to his right back, Jordan Spence, who gets ready to take the throw. Spence throws into Collison, just inside the Wigan half. West Ham are leading by 2-1. They've only had 2 away wins this season at Fulham and Blackpool. What a time to try and find another. But Wigan are pressing again down the right-hand side, and Moses has got pace here, and he's away from Bridge, and he slipped, and he can't pick himself up, and that was a real shame. He's looking for a foul. I think he just fell over.
It's like I said, the pitch, it can do that. It looks okay from up here, but as you run on it, it will just give away underneath you. That's exactly what happened there, and he's asking for the free kick, but he's just gone under with the ground.
Starting to get very end-to-end. Zavon Hines had it for West Ham. Good, strong challenge on him, and now Wigan come pouring forward, and Zogbia right in the middle of the West Ham half. Took too long. Roddy Yeager's won it back. Watson sliding the pass through. Connor Salmon's in the area. Shooting chance. Connor Salmon gets the equaliser for Wigan. They're right back in it now. And as it stands, West Ham will be relegated. Connor Salmon scores his first goal for Wigan. And who knows, it could be a crucial goal to keep them in the Premier League. West Ham were 2 up. They are staring relegation in the face. It's Wigan 2, West Ham 2.
I said Connor Salmon had made a difference when he come on. He hadn't had a look at goal, but he was occupying the back four and caused them all sorts of problems. He gets one little look at the goal this time, comes inside and curls it round Rob Green as he comes out. Great bit of technique from him, and for me, he's been a fantastic change, and Roberto Martinez deserves a lot of credit for that.
Very sadly, I've reached the midway point of the second half. I'm loath to hand over because this is going to be a lot of fun the last 20 minutes plus or so. Ian Dennis will take you through to full time.
Thank you, Alistair. But it's not just here that it will change, because should Fulham score another goal, Birmingham would drop into the bottom 3. Blackpool would go above them because their goal difference would be the same, but Blackpool have scored more goals. So not only is it critical here at the DW Stadium, but also what happens at St Andrews, where Fulham lead by 2-0. West Ham need a goal to survive. Wigan, well, they have the momentum. They've come from 2-0 down, and it's 2-2. And it's breathless.
You've got to give them credit because they kept playing their stuff. Roberto Martinez made a really brave call and put 4 players up front, and it's paid dividends.
As Jason Roberts is talking, a light aircraft, and you can't fault the timing of this light aircraft, is now flying over the DW Stadium with a banner in its wake behind it saying Avram Grant, Millwall legend.
That is priceless. I can't believe what I've seen. I've never seen anything like this before. That's unreal.
Rubbing salt into the wounds of the West Ham fans who earlier were celebrating. But how he knew when to set off when that goal went in.
It really wouldn't have worked if they were 2-0 up. He had to wait until this result turned to fly over. He must have been hovering around.
He's been circling over Bolton for the last 10 minutes. Figueroa is forward. Wigan 2, West Ham United 2. 20 minutes remain. 20 minutes for these West Ham players who've thrown away a 2-0 lead to try and salvage their season, to take it to the final game of the campaign. Wigan are looking for the winner. Salmon heads it back to Moses. What a buy he has been since coming from Kilmarnock with that precious goal. Moses driving forward. Shot strikes Gabidon's legs and ricochets to Hines. Gets away from Diarmi. Hitzelsberger. They need players such as Hitzelsberger and Parker to try and seize the initiative back for West Ham. It's slipping away from them. Carlton Cole is limbering up and ready to come on. Out towards Picquion. Picquion over on that far side, the left. Wigan 2, West Ham 2. Picquion to Hitzelsberger, back to Picquion, goes to ground under no challenge whatsoever from Boyce, and it will be a goal kick to Wigan as we go back to St Andrews. And Pat Murphy.
It's still Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. Greater urgency from Birmingham as you'd expect, but they haven't created anything. Foster out to block Fulham's Johnson. He spent a lot of his time shaking his head in bewilderment, Foster. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2.
Thank you, Pat. To Anfield now, Liverpool against Tottenham. Darren Fletcher.
18 minutes to go. Liverpool 0, Spurs 2. Van der Vaart and Modric in each half for Tottenham. They've had a chance though. Liverpool Shelby just wide from 30 yards, but it's not been vintage Liverpool. Liverpool 0, Spurs 2.
Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra as we go to the Emirates and Mike Sewell.
It's still Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. The 2 early goals from Darren Bent as another shot comes in and Downing looks to get the rebound. Arsenal have had almost all the possession in the second half and have brought on both Shamak and Bentner as Downing goes close, but they just haven't been able to find their way through the Aston Villa defence. Arsenal 0, Villa 2.
I would imagine that the pilot has paid a lot of money for that light aircraft. Well, he's getting his money worth because he continues to circle over the DW Stadium as Figueroa, tracking back, chests it towards Al-Habsi. Underarm throw out to Watson. Watson reaches the centre circle. Central position, out towards Diarmi. Diarmi almost miscontrols the ball. Keeps it in play though on this left-hand side. Wigan, in their blue and white, are playing from right to left against West Ham. And all the noise now is being made by this crowd inside the DW Stadium. As Salmon, the bald-headed striker with his first goal for the club, plays it to Nzogbia. Nzogbia out towards Diarmi on the left, just in from the touchline. Inside to Nzogbia once again, left corner of the penalty area. Rolls it out towards Diarmi. Back to Figueroa. West Ham can't get the ball. That's how much Wigan are in control. Run through towards Nzogbia. Nzogbia cutting in off the left. Away from Hines. Nzogbia to Diarmi, stretching, couldn't take it in his stride. Tompkins will clear to Collison. Collison, though, is held up by Figueroa high up the pitch. They'll play the ball back towards Piquion. Piquion was caught late by Alcaraz, but the referee has played the advantage, and a good advantage it was too, as Hitzelsperger works the ball across towards Bridge. Far side the West Ham left. Bridge runs in field, diagonal run. Has the vision to pick out Piquion, right hand side. Piquion's low ball into the penalty area, turned behind by Watson for a corner. 2-2.
Tactically it's interesting now, because what do Wigan do? Do they keep going forward in search of the winning goal, or do they take the draw? At the minute it looks like they're going to keep pushing forward, but as they do that, West Ham can break on them, and they've got the pace to do that.
Carlton Cole will soon be coming on for West Ham. West Ham have to throw caution to the wind. As it stands, West Ham are being relegated. Hitzelsperger with a corner on the right, left-footed, crowded penalty area, across the face of goal. Tompkins retrieves it, keeps the ball in play. The Wigan players thought it had gone out. Parker's shot on the edge of the area, blocked by Salmon, breaks towards Rodallega. Rodallega forward to Nzogbia. Bridge is there just on the halfway line to stop the attack. Out of play it goes for a throw.
Yet again, Wigan cannot deal with set pieces. The ball comes in and no one attacks it. There's no one who's thinking, I want to get my head on that. And as a centre-half, you want your centre-halves coming through and making sure they get their heads on it. And I don't think a Wigan centre-half has won one of them corners coming in yet.
Carlton Cole replaces Piquion. We have 16 minutes remaining. Plus, of course, there will be added on time. At least 3 minutes, I would have thought, with the amount of substitutions that we've had as well. What is interesting, Alistair Yeoman's match producer has just pointed out, Scott Parker is hardly moving. He's hardly venturing forward, protecting that back four. Is that tactical, or is it also because he's nursing that Achilles problem that he's missed the last 4 games with?
He doesn't look comfortable. He's skipping, he's hopping, he's not getting around the pitch. He's hardly had a touch. You wonder. That's a big call to put on a player who's not 100% in a game like this, because he doesn't even look 70% fit at the moment.
This is Figueroa, the only midfielder on the bench, of course, when he had to come on as Salmon gives chase to replace Spector. And Salmon puts enough pressure on the West Ham defence as Tompkins concedes the throw, down by the corner flag. Wigan, who were 2 down, drawing now 2-2 against West Ham. Fulham are 2 up at Birmingham. Diarmi chips the ball to Salmon. Back to goal, takes it on the chest, runs in field, lays it out towards Boyce. He was caught late there by Parker, and the referee gives a direct free kick in a central position.
Scott Parker's hardly getting around the pitch at the moment. He's committed that foul because he just can't keep up with the boy there, and you know, it looks like he's not even 70% fit. He's hopping about, he's not even shielding the back four because he literally cannot get about.
This is almost the position from where Nzogbia got the first goal. Nzogbia reduced the arrears with a terrific free kick into the top left-hand corner. They're attacking the away end, for those of you who've been to the DW Stadium, and in that end are at least 5,000 West Ham fans who are watching on, if they dare to look, because Nzogbia with this free kick, Nzogbia left-footed, strikes it over the top. Goal kick. But remember, West Ham still need a goal, otherwise they're going down.
Well, that's what's really interesting about this. What's the mentality of Roberto Martinez? What's the mentality of Avram Grant? How long does he leave it before he starts to put more attacking players on the pitch? Yes, Carlton Cole's come on, but it's much the same shape. No one's really pushing forward. So he's got to make a call sooner rather than later. Roberto Martinez has laid his cards out. He's going 4-2-4, and he's going to win this game.
Don't forget, after the football, Alan Green is taking your calls. 606 on 0500 909 and 693. That's from 6 till 7. You can get your calls in now as Rodallega, playing out on this left-hand side, lays it out towards Figueroa, but Salmon is a willing runner if nothing else. Tompkins, I think, kept the ball in play. No, he didn't, says the assistant referee on that far side. And that was all down to the willingness of Salmon.
Absolutely. He's made a huge difference. Not only his goal, his work rate, occupying the backboard, that's just come from him chasing after the ball he's got no right to get. And that's the kind of unselfish work that he's been prepared to do since he's come on.
Watson will take the corner kick for Wigan. On the left-hand side, headed away by Carlton Cole at the near post. Hines will try and keep it in play. Foul by Nzogbia. Cynical foul by Nzogbia, quite rightly shown a yellow card.
That's what we call a clever foul. He knows he doesn't want to hurt Zebo Hines, but he knows he doesn't want him to get away because they've got a 3-on-2 there and they just don't need it. So he's just given him a little tug and pulled him down.
Green will take the free kick for West Ham. Midway through his own half, right-footed, long, diagonal ball, drops on the edge of the area. Carlton Cole is there. Alcaraz will head it away, only as far as Hines. Taken away, though, by a header from Watson. It breaks to Hitzelsberger. Hitzelsberger's left foot shot. Good block by Gary Caldwell. The flag is raised on this near side. And it was offside, I think, from Hines, who just strayed inside the penalty area. And the Wigan fans are quite happy to see that flag go up. It's 2-2. Wigan will survive another day. West Ham may not.
Well, we've got Robbie Keane warmed up. He's been up and down 4 or 5 times now. It'll be interesting to see if he puts him on because he won't be able to play any other position but up the top with Carlton Cole.
Parker ventures forward this time, lays the ball out towards Barr. Shot comes in, headed away, only as far as Hines. Hines with a shot came off a leg of Alcaraz. Alcaraz tried to lift his leg up, almost if he didn't want the deflection to take it goalwards. As it was, it took the deflection and took it away from goal for a corner kick to West Ham. Remember, West Ham need to score.
That all came from Scott Parker just nipping in front of the centre forward, getting the ball and driving forward. And even though he can hardly walk, he's still making a big impact on this game.
Corner kick to West Ham. Hitzelsberger, out swinging corner, headed away well. It was Boyce who climbed well inside a crowded area. Collected on that far side. This is with Collison on the West Ham left. Tried the reverse ball towards Hitzelsberger. Blocked by Boyce. It'll come back to Collison. Works over across this time and bounces in towards Al-Habsi's midriff. Roddy Yeager just taken out there by Scott Parker off the ball. And Scott Parker is shown a yellow card as we go to St Andrews and Pat Murphy.
It's still 2-0 to Birmingham, but Birmingham now down to 10 men because Alexander Kleb has been taken off with looks like a bad knee injury. They've used up all their subs now, Birmingham, so they're now down to 10 men. Kleb will not be back on. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2.
And it's worth reiterating, another goal for Fulham and Birmingham would drop into the relegation zone as Moses comes forward for Wigan. His cross is deflected up in the air. Robert Green will take that. Let's go to Anfield. Liverpool Spurs. Darren Fletcher.
9 minutes to go. Liverpool 0, Spurs 2 through Van der Vaart and Modric. One chance for Liverpool. Dawson over the top of his own bar from a corner from 6 yards. Liverpool pressing without success. Liverpool 0, Spurs 2.
Commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra. Arsenal Villa, Mike Sewell.
They're still trying to get back into this Arsenal, but they trailed 2-0 to bench 2 goals. Shamak's had a header disallowed for a push on Walker. Arsenal 0, Villa 2.
And Zogbia to Salmon. Salmon in the penalty area, flicks it towards Moses. Moses hits the side netting. The angle was tight. It's a goal kick. Jason Roberts.
Every time Wigan go forward, they look dangerous now. They're creating opportunities. They're doing some good passing movements. They're committing men forward. And West Ham don't know whether to stick or twist here because they want to go forward, but they just can't because Wigan literally have 4 players stood up front and not tracking back.
A draw is not good enough for West Ham as Robbie Keane will soon be coming on. Hitzelsberger plays a short ball forward on that left-hand side to Carlton Cole. Carlton Cole turns away from Gary Caldwell. Low ball into the penalty area. Cleared away by the right foot of Alcaraz. It's collected by Nzogbia. Lovely control midway through his own half. Looks to now run at Wayne Bridge as he plays the ball forward towards Salmon. Salmon tussling with Gavidon. Salmon into the penalty area. Excellent covering by Jordan Spence to concede the corner kick.
What a break from Wigan. They're just not tracking back. Nzogbia and Victor Moses just standing up there waiting for the ball to come out, and they're thinking, well, if you score, fine, but if you don't, we're going to score. And you've got to give Roberto Martinez credit. He's really going for this, and he's not thinking about the draw, he's thinking about the win.
Corner kick to Wigan. 2-2 inside the DW Stadium and 8 minutes remain. And Zogbia with a corner. In towards the near post. Carlton Cole had a chance to volley it away. It came off the studs of his left foot and has gone behind for a successive corner. That will do nothing for the nerves. Places the ball down in the quadrant once more, does Nzogbia. West Ham have everybody back, bar. As the corner is in, and that's a good take by Rob Green.
That was good, bar.
It wasn't intentional. This is Parker. Parker is forward now for West Ham. Sliding challenge by Alcaraz out of defence. Bridge, though, will win it back for West Ham coming forward. Strong running from Wayne Bridge on that far side, the left. Out towards Hitzelsperger. Hitzelsperger back to Bridge. Bridge is closed down by Boyce, but he gets away from Boyce. Bridge with a cross, left-hand side. Bar waits. Shot comes in from behind him from Hines. Straight at the goalkeeper, Al-Habsi.
You get the feeling there's going to be a winner here because both teams are now committing men forward. It's literally defence against attack. It's breaking 5-on-4 here.
This is Diarmi. Diarmi out towards that far side for Nzogbia. Gabidon makes the challenge. Crucial intervention on the edge of the area from Gabidon to Hitzelsperger. The ball just slowed down on the wet surface, and Hitzelsperger then had misread it, which allowed Wigan in the end to get themselves a throw in on that far side, as Robbie Keane will now be coming on. And Keane is replacing Jack Collison. Hardly surprising when you consider it's his first start in 15 months.
And I thought he's done really well. I'm really happy to see him back playing. He had a nasty injury. It's good to see him back out there. I know he's had a rough year. It's good to see him out there. And he's a good lad and a good player.
Keane, who missed that sitter, of course, against Blackburn last week, has 7 minutes to maybe redeem himself should a chance come West Ham's way. And this is the first touch for Robbie Keane, who quickly plays the ball out towards that far side. And it's Barr who's away on the left. Barr has Cole ahead of him. Keane's joining the attack. Hines also coming forward on the right-hand side. Barr towards Hines. Hines into the penalty area. Great sliding block by, I think it was Diarmi who'd got back there. As the ball is slipped in towards Keane. Keane into the penalty area. Hines with a shot. Goal-bound block. Fisted away by Al-Habsi. And Watson will clear. Wigan at one stage on the back foot, now very much on the front foot. It is breathless action.
I've never seen anything like this. I honestly have never. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters. One team attacks, the other team attacks, and they're not tracking back. Literally, Wigan have 4 players not tracking back, and now West Ham are doing the exact same thing.
Well, we've got the playoffs for you tomorrow and Tuesday, and in some respects this is like a relegation playoff. It is do or die. It is make or break for the next 6 minutes. It is so open. 2-2. Hines, edge of the penalty area for West Ham. Hines looks towards Parker. It almost broke in towards the path of Parker or Cole, and there is Al-Habsi. You know, earlier on when he said it was like a basketball match, it is, isn't it? It is incredible.
I've never seen a situation like this before. Obviously, you know, this doesn't happen every day, but it's literally every time they go forward, it's a chance to score.
Gabidon with a challenge. Good challenge by Gabidon.
I'm not sure how much the ball he's got there. I am not sure how much the ball he's got. As Conor Samuel gets away, he makes a desperate challenge like he has to, or he's in on goal, and I think he's got more of the man than the ball.
This is Spence forward for West Ham to Cole, trying to roll away from his marker, taken down from behind by Gary Caldwell. Free kick to West Ham, 25 yards out from goal. It's right of centre.
Hitzelsperger will be taking this. I'm 100% sure of it. It's the perfect for a left footer, and with this kind of strike, you know he'll be lining it up. But I will be amazed if we don't have a winner here, because the way these teams are attacking each other, the way they're not tracking back, the way they're committing themselves to attack, someone is going to get the opportunity to win this game. It's in the balance.
The nerves are frayed inside the DW Stadium. It's 2-2. West Ham were 2 up. If it stays like this, West Ham will be relegated. Hitzelsperger places the ball down, 25 yards out from goal. It's right of centre. Wigan have everybody back. Al-Habsi crouches on his goal line, waiting, poised, ready for action. Hitzelsperger with a free kick, takes a deflection, behind for a corner.
He'll be a little bit disappointed with that. It was a right side for him. It was all set up for him, and the wall's very good there because they've jumped. You know, sometimes you want to stand strong, but they've jumped because they know he wants to get it over the wall, and they've managed to get their head on that one.
Hitzelsperger with a corner for West Ham, in towards the near post. Watson and Alcaraz as a duo were there to make sure it wasn't going to go goalwards. Alcaraz brings the ball away for the counter-attack for Wigan, and Zogbia looks for Salmon. Salmon loses his footing. It was just ahead of him anyway.
It was, but it's the pitch again. He slipped as I think he might have had a chance of getting that. He slips as he goes in, and West Ham on the attack again now.
West Ham now come forward. And this is Barr with a shot. Al-Habsi with the save, low down to his right. It's like 2 heavyweight boxers slugging it out in the last round.
Fatigue's going to play a factor here because these boys must be tired. They've run from end to end for literally 45 minutes. They must be spent.
Who can land the knockout blow? Certainly for West Ham. If Wigan will come forward here and score, because that would really rule it out. They would need to score twice. As Parker intercepts the ball for Watson. Parker then plays a 1-2 with Bridge, has a glance over his right shoulder. Barr drops short to collect the ball. Over the halfway line, Barr comes. Cole makes a run through in midfield. Barr gets away from a sliding challenge of Gary Caldwell. Out towards then, this is Spence joining the attack. Back heel from Cole to Keane with his back to goal. He tees up Hines with a shot. It was weak and he's dragged it wide for a goal kick. Under 3 minutes remain of normal time. 2-2.
It is literally 4 against 4 every single attack. It is just the defenders are just with their hands on their knees. They're that knackered going side to side. There's no midfield. There are no midfielders. They're all either attacking. You've got attackers and defenders on this pitch at the moment.
There's a guy in front of me with short greying hair, and he's just had to be consoled by his middle-aged colleague who's wearing a replica Wigan shirt. He just put his left arm around him because he can't bear it. It is getting to the unbearable stage for both sets of supporters. Wigan 2, West Ham 2. Figueroa with a raking ball from the left which curls straight out of play. There's been a goal at the Emirates for Mike Sewell.
Finally, Arsenal have made a breakthrough. Robin van Persie poking home from close range, but it might be too little too late in the final minute. Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 2.
Here's Nzogbia to Moses with a shot. That wasn't too far away. In fact, it was deflected behind for a corner kick.
Great bit of play there. He just come across and Nzogbia again using those step overs he got, comes inside and puts it for Moses. Moses has a great strike there. I mean, it's really opening up. I mean, he had a good opportunity to get a strike on goal here. It was a good block, but honestly, I can't catch my breath.
It's that sort of afternoon at the DW Stadium. Jason Roberts with us here on 5 Live. Corner kick to Wigan. Watson to take it deep. Green dives. Does he get a touch on that with the fists? The referee says yes, he does. It's gone behind for a successive corner.
Robert Green's got to be careful because, like I said in the first half, he's come for 3 or 4 and hasn't really got his hands on any of them. But even the corners are taking so long now because the players are that knackered. This took Nzogbia 5 minutes to get over to the other side.
A corner kick for which Nzogbia will go across to take on a damp and windy afternoon in Wigan. 2-2. Corner comes in from Nzogbia. Boyce is scrabbling for it at the near post. Brave goalkeeping by Rob Green, who quickly wants to throw the ball out. He's prevented from doing so. In the end, he manages to release the ball towards Carlton Cole on that far side. Cole will carry the ball over halfway line. Moses, though, who really has made an impact as a half-time substitute, stops him in his tracks and brings the ball forward for Wigan. Moses out to Nzogbia, right hand side. Nzogbia cuts into the penalty area, stopped by Gavidon. Hitzelsberger out of Parker, end to end.
Well, as West Ham just broke on them 5 against 5 after Wigan just breaking on West Ham 5 against 5, it's just the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Here's Watson for Wigan. Watson on the edge of the area, hits the post and comes back into the grateful arms of Rob Green. It could so easily have rebounded into the path of salmon, but it didn't. They came within inches of a winning goal. 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into.
It's moments like that that can change your season. That could have gone anywhere, and it hits the post and goes back into Robert Green's arms. You just can't write it.
Wigan, unrelenting pressure. Salmon through. Brave goalkeeping by Green. Down by his knees.
What a save from Rob Green. I honestly can't catch my breath. I think Connor Samuels could have passed that actually as he goes through on the keeper. He could have just rolled it to Rodiego, who's running through as well. So, but he scored and he's feeling positive. But here West Ham are breaking.
Here's West Ham. It's an incredible game. This is Barr in the penalty area to Parker with a shot straight at Al-Habsi. Couldn't get the power on it. Wigan then will come forward again. Well, you might as well bypass the midfield. This is Moses. It's ridiculous. Moses for Wigan. Moses with a shot. Cannons away off Tompkins. Collected by Gary Caldwell. Gary Caldwell far side with a cross. You've got defenders playing as strikers, midfielders playing as strikers. It's like being back at school.
It's jumpers for goalposts. It's jumpers for goal. Again, they're breaking 5 against 5, and they just can't seem to. No one can seem to get the breakthrough. But I mean, there's goals here to be had. I'll be amazed if someone doesn't score a goal now.
Bridge to Hitzelsberger. Hitzelsberger with a shot left-footed, low wide, goal kick, still 2-2. Remember, Fulham are still leading at Birmingham by 2-0. By the slenderest of margins in terms of goal difference, Birmingham will remain out of the relegation zone, because in fact it is now finished at Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. That is a full-time scoreline. So just the one goal in terms of goal difference separates those two sides. It is quite conceivable that Blackpool could survive next week despite losing at Old Trafford. Tottenham are hosting Birmingham at White Hart Lane. Here the ball is played through to Hines. Hines right hand side. Alcaraz comes across. Stay on your feet, as Rio Ferdinand would say. Alcaraz shields and marshals Hines out of the penalty area. Clips it in towards Hitzelsberger. Hitzelsberger towards Carlton Cole. And Carlton Cole can't hook it goalwards. It was almost bundled in on the goal line.
I'm not sure what just happened. I can't believe Carlton Cole's managed to. It must have come off a divot or something, because it's rolled up his shin and just. I just can't believe he hasn't got something firm on that to put it in.
Al-Habsi now slips with a goal kick. We're about 60 seconds away from the referee blowing his whistle. West Ham 60 seconds away from relegation, unless they can score with this attack. Keane to Hines. Hines bides his time, floats it over towards the far post. Cole is there, but as is Al-Habsi. Wigan are still looking for a winner themselves. Long clearance downfield, bounces away from Salmon, up against Tompkins. Tompkins keeps the ball in play. Plays it forward, over the head of Hines. 40 seconds remain. Mike Dean struggling to keep up with play. It is unrelenting. End-to-end stuff. Rodallega to Moses, back to Rodallega. Rodallega in the penalty area. Rodallega can't get the shot away. He does, blocked by Bridge.
As we're talking about this, there's 5 West Ham players not even trying to get back. They're not even trying to get back to defend their goal.
And Zuckby with a shot. And Zuckby with a goal. Delirium inside the DW Stadium. West Ham are relegated. Wigan still have hope. Wigan 3, West Ham 2. It has been a totally incredible game.
The West Ham players are dead on their feet. As I said, they weren't even trying to get back. They've allowed Nzogbia to cut in, and you can't do that because he's got too much ability. He's cut in and rifled the ball in. And at the moment, I'm not sure it stands, but that is a huge goal for Wigan Football Club.
A huge goal and a monumental comeback and a hammer blow for West Ham United. The draw wouldn't have been good enough, but for Wigan, it gives them hope. They, along with Blackpool and Birmingham, will be locked together on 39 points. Not too sure what is happening in the West Ham supporters' end. 2 advertising hoardings that are actually at the back of the stand have been thrown down whilst that goal has been scored over the own heads of the West Ham supporters. Another one is also being dismantled. West Ham United had it in their grasp. However, Wigan have produced the comeback of all for this season.
Even at 2-0, you weren't sure that West Ham were going to be able to hold out. And it just goes back to the frailties they've had all season. They weren't able to keep a 2-0 lead. And they go down, losing this game 3-2. And they've got to look at themselves, and they've only got themselves to blame because at 2-0 up, they were coasting.
Substitution's just been made. MacArthur has just come on. By my watch, we're almost 2 minutes of added on time. A remarkable game at the DW Stadium. Wigan Athletic, who were 2-0 down, have come from behind to beat West Ham by 3-2. Wigan survive at least for another day. They remain in the bottom 3, but for West Ham United, the inevitable has happened. They have been relegated. Their players are shell-shocked. Jason Roberts.
I've got to tell you, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. The scenes are unreal. Wigan deserve everything that they've got today. They kept playing their way. They kept committing men forward. And West Ham couldn't deal with it. Wigan got exactly what they deserved today, and they won the game.
Well, it's finished here. There is a pitch invasion. It's the final game, of course, for Wigan at the DW Stadium. So we're going to go to St Andrews and Pat Murphy.
It's Birmingham 0, Fulham 2, the final score, and really Birmingham lucky to get 0. Fulham much the better side. Hangeland a goal early in each half, both from corners. Dozy defending from Birmingham. They created very little. They played square and statically throughout. The abiding memory will be Ben Foster shaking his head in bewilderment on regular occasions of the Birmingham goal. We're waiting now for a lap of appreciation from the Birmingham players to their long-suffering crowd. That'll be interesting. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2.
Well, I've got to say, the stewards and the police have done extremely well here, because on the final whistle, they quickly formed 2 lines to stop the Wigan fans goading the West Ham supporters. However, as well as the advertising hoardings that were thrown down from the top of the stand, Thomas Hitzelsberger, who tried to show his appreciation to the West Ham players, had to dodge a flying bottle that was aimed, obviously, towards the Wigan supporters. So we need to keep an eye on this situation as we go to Anfield and Darren Fletcher.
Liverpool 0, Spurs 2, so Spurs back in control of that, the 5th place and the all-important Europa League spot for next season. They scored a goal in each half. Van der Vaart with a volley after 8 minutes. From the penalty spot, Modric scored after 55 after Flanagan was adjudged to have fouled Pienaar. Liverpool dominated possession in the second half. Cudicini, though, really troubled, and it's a big win this for Spurs. Liverpool 0, Spurs 2.
And it's also now full-time at the Emirates, Mike Sewell.
Arsenal's players trudging round the pitch after a 2-1 defeat here by Aston Villa. Darren Bent with both Villa's goals inside the first quarter of an hour. Arsenal had the majority of the possession after that. They hit the post through Van Persie, who eventually prodded home a consolation. Arsenal 1, Villa 2.
Thank you, Mike. The Wigan supporters are still piling onto the pitch to mark their celebrations for a remarkable victory and a remarkable game, Jason Roberts.
I can honestly say I've never seen anything like this before. The way Wigan managed to come back. I mean, that 2-0 down, I'm thinking all West Ham have to do is defend that lead. They looked like they were doing it. They looked like they knew what they were doing. As soon as the goal came in, you saw all the belief just leave their body. And it just looked like they didn't know what to do. They're not being used to defending leads, and they just didn't know what to do. Once the first goal went in, they didn't know how to stop the stem from Wigan's midfield, getting the ball and playing the balls in behind them, and they just couldn't seem to deal with it.
Just making sure that the players and staff of West Ham, who have gone over towards that far side to acknowledge the travelling supporter safely in the sanctuary of the dressing room and through the tunnel. Just looking at the bottom of the table, West Ham now 33 points are relegated. You have Wigan and Blackpool, who are on 39 points in the relegation zone. Birmingham, who lost today, just outside the relegation zone on 39 points. But it's a matter of 2 goals that celebrate Birmingham, Blackpool and Wigan from relegation on goal difference.
I'm taking on board what this means for us as Blackburn Rovers, and this takes it into the last day. I'm pretty sure this is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this before in the Premier League, and I'm sure it's exciting for everyone. My heart's almost jumped out my body today. But, we know we've got to go to Wolves now, and we've got to get something. I'm sure everyone's looking from Wigan to Blackpool, Birmingham and Wolves are looking like they've got to go into that last game thinking that they've got to get something out of that. And I'm sure for the spectators, for everyone watching, it's going to be an amazing last round of games.
And of course, I was going to say, then you've got Wolves and Blackburn, who of course meet each other, your team, at Molineux, who just a point ahead of them. What a climax to the Premier League season it will be. And of course, you'll be able to hear that on 5 Live. Next up, though, it's Alan Green with 606 0500 909 693 for your calls to speak to Alan.